Welcome to episode 7 of the ReelTok podcast. 7 episodes, ladies and gentlemen. We are back at it again with my beautiful, voluptuous, amazing co-hosts George, Seth, and Cam. Before we get into this episode, whatever you're listening to us on right now, whether it's Apple, Spotify, YouTube, hit that subscribe, hit that follow, hit that 5-star rating. It helps us out a ton. We really want to try to get up these charts. It'll help us become the #1 movie podcast in the world. But we got a pretty solid show today. Let's just go ahead and get right into it. First off, let's just start. How's everyone doing? Cameron, Purdue lost yesterday. What TikTok are you gonna make for me? We made a little friendly wager that our alma maters played Wisconsin versus Purdue in football. The game was projected by Vegas to be like a 1-point game, which means like they expected Wisconsin to win by 1 point. The final score was closer than it actually was. I think it was 35-24, but that game was a blowout. What do you have to say for yourself?
It is abysmal, man. It's Purdue sports in a nutshell. I hate Purdue sports. I love them to death, but they just stink, and so it's a bummer. I said I'd make 5 things I like about you, and it's hard to come up with a list, man. No.
Hey, after losing the bet, you can't throw strays like that. You have to be only nice.
It's just we haven't beat Wisconsin in 16 years now. There's a curse literally over that fucking school.
2003 was actually 19 years ago, so it's a little longer of a
19 years, 16 games, I guess it was.
And just to add injury to the Flames, like my grad school, Penn State, beat Purdue week 1, so I'm 2-0 of my colleges beating your colleges this year.
Yeah, this is the first game we've lost by more than a last-second touchdown or a last-minute touchdown. So, unfortunate. This is an actual loss. Penn State, I still think we should have beaten. Same with Syracuse. Doesn't matter. Beside the point. Life-wise, I'm all right. I'm okay. I'm doing well in life. Yeah, you see that door back there, right there? This is bad for anyone listening on like Apple or Spotify, but YouTube, you can see that door. I just broke it. So I had to just hang it back up literally 5 minutes before we got on this podcast. I took a shower.
You're not going to tell us how you broke it? Any good
I was
story?
trying to close it and ripped it it Yeah.
So strong. The gym is getting to you, bro.
Those massive biceps.
I think it's exactly that. It's the 3 times I've worked out. That's what it is.
Since we started this podcast, you've broken your desk and your door.
Yeah, so I've broken my desk and my door, and like I said, I just got to live my life and accept that I'm gonna fuck things up because it just happens all the time. But yeah, I took a shower in 3 minutes before this podcast, so I'm feeling good today. It's about as clean as I've been.
Cam, you've been to the gym 3 times. Didn't we make a commitment a month ago or something?
Yeah, and 3 of 30 is much better than where I was at before.
No, but you're gonna say that when it's 3 of 100.
It's 300% improvement. If we want to say that. But hey, the gym at my apartment actually sucks, and it's kind of annoying. It's beat up to shit.
I've been there before. That's such an easy excuse. That's one of my favorite excuses.
Okay. Also, there was someone who commented on one of my videos and was like, "No more excuses." All right, my excuse is I simply just don't want to go. That's the excuse. I don't care. I'm not a motivated gym guy, so we'll maybe get into it. I don't know. I'm gonna maybe try for a membership, and then that'll force me to go.
It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, I know. We'll see.
Well,
I'm chilling. How's everyone else? I just ranted for a while.
Seth, you seem to be having a good week because you had the UFC event. You said you were having some great movie theater experiences, but then you just said you woke up feeling not too well today. So how's everything going across the pond?
I don't know if it's not well or just run down stress wise. I've just when you wake up and you just ache and you just feel like you want to sleep just constantly. That's kind of how I feel. But yeah, man, UFC was great last night. Really enjoyed it. Fantastic card. A few very questionable decisions in there, but no, it was good, man. I've had a pretty good week. Been quite busy, busier than I probably wanted to be, but can't complain. It's been pretty good, pretty standard to be fair.
Well, nothing too much to complain about there. I feel like I'm in the same boat. I went to that wedding last weekend, got sick. I feel like because in Arizona, as much as I complain about the weather just being always so hot, it's just hot and dry. So you don't really get allergies here. It's kind of hard to get sick when it's just hot and no pollen and nothing all the time. So I went to Arkansas for 3 days, which is very much forest, hilly, very different climate. And I think it just wrecked my body. So I'm getting over a cold. I've been feeling better for the past 3 days, but I went on TikTok live on Friday on the movie account and I'm like, oh, let's go on live. It's been a while. And like 3 minutes in, I just couldn't stop coughing because it was the first time I talked for more than like 2 sentences. So I was like, I'm sorry, guys. It's been like 2 minutes, but I have to get off. So hoping it goes better for this. I got some hot chai tea, got some water. We should be set and everything. But that's how I've been. I've been sick, been out of town, feel like I'm just behind on everything, which is just like the worst feeling ever, just trying to catch up. And because I missed a lot of work this week and getting behind, so it's stressful. But George, how have you been? I see in the doc it says, because we have this doc where we all prepare and we all type in stuff, and I never know who does what, if it's Cam messing with people or if it's George. I say this, but it says, how is everyone doing? George - bad. Can you explain?
I'm not doing bad. That was just a joke.
Good.
But I am doing fine. I'm doing pretty, same as Seth, pretty standard week of work. I was in Jersey for Friday and Saturday, just working from my friend's house on Friday, and then we golfed on Saturday. Shouts out my boy Doug, Sam, and Nick. And then I drove home yesterday, and driving in New York, if you've ever done it, is absolutely miserable. So it took me, so I went to Jersey. Think about this. I went to Jersey Friday morning. I left at probably 5 a.m. It took me an hour and 15 to get there. I left Jersey yesterday around 3:30 maybe. Took me 2.5 hours to get home. So
Sheesh.
traffic.
I don't know what that means. That could be 2.5 hours distance. But is that what's the distance? You need to speak for the UK distance as well.
It's about 80 miles to my friend's house, maybe 75.
Should take you an hour if you're going 80 miles per hour, Seth.
Yeah.
Oh, if you go, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, true. We just totally boned the UK audience because he's like, put it in UK terms. Let me throw out miles per hour.
Yeah,
And it was like,
kilometers
we're just
per
doubling
hour,
down and not.
It's on the left side of the road too, so you're probably driving like backwards. I don't know.
Wait, you realize that we use miles? Wait,
Do you?
What?
yeah, we use miles.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, we use
Interesting.
miles.
Learn something new every
Look at
day.
that. Look at that.
You're not very clued up on us, are you?
I'm not clued up on shit, Seth.
This is true. Can we just? I want to get this out there. The other day, I was talking about this with Cam, and what was it you said about the people who taxed you now?
I thought you were talking about the IRA, and I was like, those people tax me.
Yeah, and I was like, wait, I'm sure that's the IRS, and then you were like,
oh yeah, my bad.
Classic American, that is.
Man.
Oh my god, man. Yeah, that's my bad.
So George, you enjoyed Jersey?
George,
Go ahead, Cam.
What's up?
George, is Doug the one I replied to on TikTok thinking he was like a hater of yours?
Doug is who you replied to.
All right. He seems like a good person then.
They're all good people.
Yeah.
Was that the comment that was like, how did you post yourself wearing this?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was like, yeah, you should fucking delete your TikTok, George.
Oh man.
I thought it was just a random person.
Yeah, driving through New York does not sound fun. I only have one experience with it. I had an internship in 2018 in Boston, and my sister lives in Philly, and the internship was over, and I was driving home from Boston all the way to Madison, Wisconsin, which if you're in the U.S., you can visualize that drive. If you're not, it's like the middle of the U.S. all the way to the East Coast. I think total it's like 15 to 16 hours. But I was driving, my car was breaking down. Like I still have this car, I got it fixed up, but it's super old. It was breaking down, overheating, driving from Boston to Philly, and the air conditioner like wouldn't work because it would just overheat the car. So it was during the middle of summer, I'd have the window down, just my arm out the window. My left arm got like completely dark tan, while the rest of my body's just normal. It was like the weirdest tan sunburn ever. But my car ended up breaking down in Brooklyn, New York. So that's my only experience ever with New York City. I'll be going there in a week or 2 weeks, so I'll get a better experience. But literally right now, the only time I've ever been to New York was my car breaking down like in downtown Brooklyn. So I had to find like some repair shop just off the street. And I was like, this is like not a place you want to have a broken down car, is on these like New York City streets. It was awful.
Classic.
But, yeah. Anyways,
Classic.
Let's before we get into kind of our normal shindigs of, you know, the news, the reviews, let's just talk about what have we been watching this week. So Seth, you had some good theater experiences. We'll talk more about those later. But other than those, what have you been watching this week?
So I watched About Time, which was
Dub.
I cry at a lot of films, and that was like. Have you, Tyler? I know you've seen it. Have you guys both seen it as well?
I've seen it, yeah.
I haven't seen it in a while.
I've
seen it, not in a while. Yeah. I don't have it rated.
That ruined me. I've seen. What did I watch this week? I've seen quite a few films this week. Before I've seen I watched Portrait of a Lady on Fire. I watched
It's a great movie.
they did it. Well, I watched a film that she did, which came out last year called Petite Maman, which is quite a short film, about 70 minutes.
Small man.
Pretty much. Well, no, it's little mum, I think it is. Yeah,
Sure.
and it's basically about a little girl who loses her grandma, and then she meets another girl, and it's just one of those. It's just like a joyful watch. That was really nice. And then I watched Coherence, which George you like. Really enjoyed that. Like 50K budget, sci-fi, thriller-esque, and it's just one of those that there's so much room for different interpretation, so much little details you can pick on throughout the film. But yeah, I've watched quite a few, and then obviously just the cinema experience as well, which we'll get onto in a second. But I've watched a few good films this week, definitely.
Good stuff.
Cool.
George, your list looks like a lot of classic George movies. What have you been watching this week?
It's just continuing my horror stuff. I watched The Mist. While I was watching The Mist,
How was that?
I thought that was an M. Night Shyamalan movie the entire time.
What did you think of the end?
It was, why? What are we doing? What kind of decision making is that? Like, just drive your fucking car. Like, stupid.
Who directed that? Do you know off the top of your head?
Frank Darabont.
Frank
the guy who does-
Darabont.
Okay, because I don't know
Shawshank.
what kind of weird like Mandela effect I have, but I could have sworn The Mist was an M. Night Shyamalan movie.
The entire time I was watching, I thought it was M. Night, and then once that ending hit, I was like, "Yeah, M. Night. This is classic M. Night ending." And then I look at the director, and I'm
It's
like,
the guy who did Shawshank. And
I was like,
Greenlight.
I was like, "That's not M. Night. What the fuck are we doing?"
Yeah. It's weird.
But yeah, I watched The Mist. I watched The Munsters, which is a 2022 release, but we're not going to go on an in-depth review on that because it fucking sucks. It was one of the most bland, lazy piece of shit films I've ever watched. Don't watch it.
Sounds like I'm gonna love it.
I didn't even know about this.
I want to
can
watch it.
assure- The only reason I watched it is because I wanted to watch Terrifier 2, which I didn't realize was only in theaters, so I
Yeah.
couldn't find a stream. So I was just looking at for like new 2022 releases that were out that I could just kill real quick while I'm working. The Munsters came up, so I put it on, and I instantly regretted it. That movie.
What's it on?
Netflix.
Oh,
It's
I'll be
directed by Rob Zombie.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
How is it?
I'll be
No,
watching.
is it? I didn't
Oh.
realize-
Yeah,
that's
Rob
about
Zombie.
Yeah, it is.
Wow. Okay.
And then a Seth recommendation. I watched The Descent, which I thoroughly enjoyed.
Scary.
It was fucking frightening. I texted you. There was one jump scare that literally, like,
Yeah, everyone
Maybe-
who's watched it will know exactly what.
yeah, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but there was also one moment of the movie. It wasn't even a jump scare. I don't even think it was intended to be scary. That literally put my jaw on the ground. Like, it happened so fast, and I was like, wow. And then, like, once it happened, like, the effects of it were like dragged out across like a quick, like, 3-minute
Yep.
emotion fest, and I was like, that hit hard. But that was a great movie. And then I saw the first Terrifier finally because of all the rave of Terrifier 2, which it's a bad movie, but like it has a 35K budget, so like how much can we really like hate on this movie?
Yeah.
But it is a objectively bad film.
Yeah. It's got like it's one of those that has like a cult following, doesn't it?
Yeah, like I love the kills and the gore and shit, but it looks like it was recorded on an iPhone 4.
For a budget, the actual effects are pretty astounding.
Yeah, it's wild.
Like, if I'm going to give it credit, the effects they look realistic for a thing.
Yeah.
Like it. I think the new one like it's only got what's the budget on the new one? I think it's only nothing crazy. I think it's like
I thought I got
500.
boosted.
No, I thought it was like.
I thought it was like
high.
70.
Yeah, it's a high budget.
Is it?
I don't
No,
know.
I was saying 70K.
Oh no.
No.
I thought it was like double the original.
I think it's like I thought it was like 500K or something. So it got like definitely some more money into it.
more money, but
Yeah.
I don't know anything about the
250K.
I don't know anything about the Terrifier movies, but I think I think it was Straw Hat Goofy who posted it, like one of the wildest things I've seen, like a horror movie, and it was a scene from Terrifier, and it was like they were
where he
fighting.
pulls out the fucking
Yeah, they're like
gun.
fighting, and he's like beating
Yeah.
down. Then all of a sudden, he's like, "Well, bang!" I was like, "This looks like a Michael Scott directed like scene where he's just like, I'm
That
getting
made
beaten
me
up, all the
laugh.
back against the wall, and just like that was hilarious.
That was funny as shit.
Yeah, that
also,
was
the
fun.
Terrifier 2 is like these people are pissing, shitting, and throwing up during this movie. Like, what the fuck you if you're
Yeah.
doing that? Like,
I don't buy that for a second.
yeah.
have you
no,
guys all had comments about have you watched it yet? I'm getting them
Yeah,
every
I'm
video.
getting them all the
No,
time.
I don't talk horror.
I know. Why would you? To be fair,
Yeah.
like, George specifically.
I get it. My problem is like I don't want to. I see movies by myself all the time, but like,
Yeah, so
Terrifier 2 is not the movie I want to watch alone.
I would have no one who would come with me to
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
Like-
No one wants to come with me, so
Yeah.
that's probably just gonna be a wait till streaming so I can just watch it.
It's coming out on Blu-ray the 28th, I believe. This like next week.
I'll
I
buy
think.
it. I'm gonna go
Doesn't
buy
want
it.
Yeah.
to shit his pants when he's alone. I've been watching. I haven't watched a ton of movies this week, to be quite honest with you. I caught up with Andor. Still haven't caught up with House of the Dragon or Rings of Power, but I watched Bros. Very good rom-com. It's very straightforward. Like, it's outside.
What did you rate it?
81.
Oh,
It's good.
okay.
It's really funny. Outside of it being like a gay rom-com, like it's one of the more straightforward plots like ever. You know,
Was
so
that
that's
double
fine.
entendre joke.
I need to.
I get it now. It took me a sec, but sure. And then I watched On the Count of Three, which I thought was great. We talked about it last week, but I do think the comedy kind of like brings down the like impact that this movie should have a little bit, but it was very funny. So I liked the comedy. I don't know. I'm a little in between on the comedy on it, but it was really good. I gave that an 88 out of 100. Really did enjoy it.
Everyone seems to like that. Don't
That's
they?
in my-
It's not out here yet, but
That's in my top
every
5
review.
of the year.
Same.
Top 5, really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's-
number 4.
I think
it
it's like
five
my
stars?
6
No.
or something.
4.5.
4.5. Okay, sound.
I have it at 4.5 as well. I think it's like my 6th of the year now. Now it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9.
What's one for you? Thor: Love and Thunder.
So, well, no, that's 2 actually, right behind Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange, right?
Yeah, that's 1. Actually, I just put a list on my Letterboxd. Rarely ever have a
Wow.
Letterboxd.
Wow.
Look at
Yeah, 2022 movie rankings. I
Wow.
told you guys last
Oh
night.
my
Oh, can I tell
God.
this story? Last night I couldn't sleep right. And normally it's because my fucking kid wakes me up in the middle of the night. No, last night my kid slept through the night, but I had my parents' dog. And apparently my parents' dog wakes up every hour and a half and just like scratches you for pets. Fuck off. I love that dog. That was like my childhood dog. Like as a kid. Love it. But go away. It's 2 a.m. And then I couldn't sleep for another hour and a half. So yeah, I made that list.
I love how you just said my childhood dog as a kid. Like,
Yeah, I don't know. I'm an idiot. Leave me be.
There's a Cam thing say that.
Cam,
Yeah.
this is a very interesting top 10 I'm looking at right now.
Dude, you have Bullet Train in your top 10. So
This is,
I think Bullet Train would get like just into my top 10. I can't lie.
really.
George,
I
read-
haven't watched- I haven't
George,
watched
read
the
off
movie.
his top 10.
he's got Prey at 10, Hustle on the count of 3.
Oh, Hustle.
Yeah, that
I
was
love Tussle.
that was gross.
I like
You
Hustle.
don't like Tussle? I love
He's
it.
got Watcher at 7. Love that. He's got Fresh at 6.
Ooh,
No.
Top Gun Maverick at 5.
No.
The Northman at 4. RRR, The Batman, Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah, solid top 4.
I think I think-
Fresh at 6.
Solid top 5. Fresh,
I love Fresh.
Fresh,
I love
Hustle,
Fresh.
and Prey are questionable.
Prey isn't questionable. I'd have Prey in my top 10. We know
Yeah.
you didn't like it. But
So
I think
movies that are not in the top 10 that I think George had were you have I just said it, Bullet Train. You have a
That's
movie
right.
I haven't seen.
Which one?
Vikram.
Vikram?
Yeah, Vikram. Yeah.
Vikram.
Oh, I
haven't
haven't seen that yet. I need to watch
Good
Um,
movie.
You have
Yeah,
like
that-
Apollo 10 and a half. Is that
No, that's at number
11?
11.
Damn. I looked at your list as
Yeah.
well. I was like,
I also have Nope in my top 10. I see you have
Yeah.
it ranked a little lower.
yeah, I have it really low compared to you. At
Yeah.
least.
Have you seen? Has everyone seen 3,000 Years of Longing? Where would
Yes.
that?
No.
Oh, did you watch it, George? What did you have that?
I saw it. That's my highest ranked 3.5 out of 5-star movie.
What a surprise! I think I give it.
That's all of his movies, by
That's
the way.
every movie is.
3.5. out of
I
5.
really liked 3,000 Years of Longing. The
I
ending
thought it was great. I thought it was really solid.
just
What's wrong with Fresh?
There's nothing wrong with
no,
Fresh.
nothing. I
Nothing
give it like-
wrong. It's just
There's
it's
nothing
not
wrong with it.
there.
I give it a 3. I don't know what everyone else gave it. Like,
I gave it a 3.5.
of course you did. There's
Yeah,
no
I'm
point
not,
asking you.
dude. I'm not like talking to you, George. I know what you gave it.
I'm just happy you made a Letterboxd list because honestly, we got you on the Letterboxd train maybe over a month ago now, and at this
I've
point
always had-
I kind of gave up on you honestly on Letterboxd. I thought I was like,
fair,
okay, he
I've
tried
always
it out.
had
It's
it.
not going to be for him.
To be fair, I've always had it. I just don't log movies there because I do it.
You
on
do
my
it in
own.
batches. Like you do
I
it in
do it
like
on my
50 films.
But
at a time.
I have another list. George, are you looking at my lists?
No, it's his second one.
2022 movies where the main character refers them to themselves as Vengeance, ranked. The Batman, then the Northman, because at one point they both call themselves Vengeance.
Oh, that is a very Cam Walsh list, but I like it.
Yeah.
Can you make that into a TikTok?
Sure.
You're
Sure.
the top
That's a
two
good
movies of the year where the characters
Yeah.
refer to themselves.
You
as
should put
Vengeance.
number
So,
three.
yeah,
You should put number
actually-
3 as Vengeance. If you've seen that,
Huh?
if you've seen the movie Vengeance that came out this year, that could be number 3.
I don't think I have.
Oh my-
Definitely haven't.
It was
I
fun.
haven't seen that.
I thought it was
I haven't
fun.
seen it.
Oh yeah, I wanted to see this. The BJ Novak movie.
Yeah.
I really did want to see this. I
I
haven't
did
yet.
not see it.
Maybe I'll check it out.
But yeah,
But it's-
speaking of George saying like 3.5, his highest rated 3.5 out of 5 stars. I got a comment the other day on my Letterboxd, I reviewed Nightcrawler and gave it a 9.9 out of 10. And
Really?
Cam, you can relate to this. When you rate like out of 10 or out of 100, the difference between 9.9 and 10 or like the 0.1s are so marginal. But when you review so many, like people are like, why don't you just give it a 10? When you review so many movies, if you just start saying like, oh, just throw all these here, like there's just no way you're ever going to be able to differentiate them. So like realistically,
Well,
a 9.9 and
fucking
9.8, there's like no difference. But it's just like when I'm looking at my rankings, that's just where it falls. So
Yeah.
Yes.
I agree. I used to rank out of 100 as well.
That's why. Okay, we're gonna get into this. That's why I say like when you say like, oh, that movie was great, I have it a 4.5 out of 5. I don't put any movie that every like great movie I have at a 95 or 100. Everything below that is like 4.5 to 5. So 85 to 94 is what I'd call like a very good movie.
Really?
So, like,
So you wouldn't like a 9
Yes.
to a 9 out
well,
of
I
10?
mean, like sometimes, like when you get into the 94s, I'd be like, "That's a great movie." But like normally, before I like started doing Letterboxd, and this is why I hate the out of 5-star like rating system.
Yeah.
Is like sometimes George will be like, "I fucking love that movie. It was great. I'm giving it a 4.5 out of 5." And I'm like, I don't understand how you can like, but I understand when you're only rating it on that scale, you know?
Yeah, you have to think what the scale people are rating on. 'cause
Yeah,
everyone
and so like George is like, I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. I think it was a really good movie. I'm like, 3.5 out of 5. I also feel like I have like the like school grading system in my head where like a C plus, I'm like, this movie's like, yeah, it's fine. Like it's a movie that's there, you know? So I don't really consider my 3.5 out of 5s like really good movies, you know,
yeah.
which is just my personal opinion. You can call me crazy if you want, but I hate the out
No,
of
the
5
way I translate to Letterboxd, I do 9.5 to 10 out of 10s as a 5 stars, whereas I feel like a lot of people
Same.
treat Letterboxd
Do
5
9.
stars as like what I treat a 10 out of 10 as. I feel like some people just do like a 5-star on Letterboxd. Like they only give 5 stars in a movie that they're great, but also like hold a special like connection to me. Like for me, a 10 out of 10 is like the same as a 9.9. The only difference is like the 10 out of 10 I just consider like just an elite class that I don't really want to just throw anything into. I want it to be like something that's like amazing, but also like special to me. It's one of my favorites. I think Cam, you said something similar about your 100 out of 100. It's kind of like a sacred tier almost for you.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll ever like put something in there again. Maybe one day. I don't know. Like the closest I've ever gotten recently is like I got Everything Everywhere All at Once at a 98. But then like the closest I think I've gotten in new-ish movies is like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Well, there's a guy I follow on TikTok called Kian. He's watched like a crazy amount of films. He watched like 4,400 logged on Letterboxd or something, and he's only 18 as well. And he I quite like the way he does it. I mean, I wouldn't do it like this, but he's only ranked 28 films a 5-star out of 4,500. Because I think he literally does it, like even The Godfather gave like a 4 or 4.5, not because he doesn't think it's amazing. He literally does it via the connection he had with the film. That makes sense. And
Right.
it's very minute films. I feel like a lot of people do that as well. Whereas like me and George, if we're doing the 5 system, if we think a film is just incredible, has such a good experience, we'll just give out 5s. Let's be honest. Like we just give 5s. But a lot of people have a thing where they hold a 5 for like that personal connection with the film. I kind of get it.
Which is what I
But
do
I
with 10 out of 10s, which is why I kind of like having a little more.
Yeah, I mean, if I
diversity.
consider it a 5 out of 5 a perfect movie, then I guess I would only have 5 out of 5s. But there's
I
the
see.
Yeah.
I'm like caught at a crossroads because like my 5 out of 5s are like
your
it's
top
kinda-
100, right?
yeah, but it's also like some movies are what I just objectively feel deserve a 5 out of 5. Some movies are just like I think How to Train Your Dragon is a great movie. It's probably not a 5 out of 5 movie. I have it at a 5 out of 5 because I fucking love it. It makes me cry. I'm bullish at times.
I kind of get that.
But I have zero personal connection with 2001: A Space Odyssey. I just objectively think that is a perfectly made movie.
I would probably differ from you because like I watched, as I told you, Mirror, for example, George, the Tarkovsky one.
Yeah.
Like if you're talking about how well made that is, it is incredible. I give it like a 2.5 or a 3 just because I found it boring. So I just that 2.5 there is for how well made I think it was. If I didn't really enjoy the film, I can't see myself giving it a 4.5 or a 5. But then again, like Tyler, for example, you gave 2001 a 5 out of 5, and then you didn't think it was the most entertaining thing in the world. But I think that's the great thing about film. We all rank stuff differently. Do you know what I mean?
And that's a debate as old as time. Like, do you rate it based on your enjoyment or based on whatever? It's a debate that's been going on forever. It'll continue to go on forever. But we'll move forward from our rating scales, and I'll quickly go over what I've been watching. So I've been sick, so ticked a lot of stuff off the watch list. So Cam finally got me to watch Ted Lasso. So the way our group chat works is people will say like, "Hey, recommend a movie to watch," and George will be like, recommend a movie to watch. Then he'll go over to TikTok stories and say, "Hey, everyone, comment a movie I should watch," and then starts watching a movie that literally 0 people recommended.
Whereas asshole 92.
Whereas I'll listen to the recommendations. Cam recommended Ted Lasso. I started it. Absolutely love it. Very, very entertaining. Very heartwarming. Season 2, episode like 3. But it's one of those shows that I know if it was different, I would probably argue against it. But you know how when you watch a show, you don't want just everything to be perfect. You want some wrinkles to be thrown in. You need to keep it intriguing in the plot. But that's just one movie. I'm just like, or a show. I'm just like, just make everything go perfectly, and I wouldn't complain. Just make Ted Lasso, make them win all the games, make all the romances work. I know it doesn't, but like that's just one that's so heartwarming and a warm hug of a show. I'm just like, just don't make anything bad happen. Just make it all happy. But great show. Speaking of warm hugs, Harry Potter documentary. Don't know how I slept on that for so long. That was so fun. Like I said this in my Letterboxd review. As a Harry Potter fan, that was great. As a film fan, that was fucking awesome because it went through like director by director, kind of saying how they were changing the tones and the stories and how they were directing these child actors into their teenage years. Like it was so awesome for film fans to get inside the minds of these producers, these directors, these actors, the great actors like Ralph Fiennes and all these experienced ones, as well as the child actors coming up. Such a great documentary. Enjoyed that a bunch. And then, so when I'm sick, I just want to watch movies that I know I'm going to love. I rewatched some of my favorite movies of all time. Boyhood. That movie will just like stab me in the heart every time. Again, I said this in my Letterboxd. I think it's a movie that objectively everyone can agree is like a near masterpiece in terms of achievement of just filming over so long and making that coming of age story. But for the people that like truly connect with it, whether it's they have experiences similar to it growing up or can relate to it, that movie will just forever be unmatched. Like Richard Linklater, king of coming of age, incredible movie. You got to give it a watch.
I'd probably like it because I like it
very
a
good.
lot. I loved the Before trilogy.
Yeah.
School of Rock, fantastic film. It just is. I'd probably like that. Is it the one where it goes through like it's Ethan Hawke, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it goes through like how many years?
12 years.
12. Yeah. I mean, I'd definitely like. I might watch it today.
Yeah, he kind of Richard Linklater gambled correctly because he'd had Ethan Hawke and Patricia Arquette as the two parents, which both were famous 12 years ago and still household names today. So he kind of like worked out well for him that he was able to just pick actors and actresses that ended up having staying power and cultural relevance. But then also just quickly watch Nightcrawler, Game Night. Love both those movies to death.
Game Night a 5 out of 5.
Yeah, for me, like that's a subjective for me because that's a perfect comedy for what I like. I want a comedy that's funny, that also has a plot. Like I really will never rate a comedy high if it's just a slapstick comedy that has no real plot. Like I haven't seen Step Brothers in forever. I don't know what I'd rate it, but the plot there's
5 out of 5 or I'll kill you.
That's not
4 to 5.
American comedy that's a 5 is super bad. I'll
yes,
stand by
yes,
it.
I would agree.
We all have super bad
5.
I don't have super bad at 5.
Oh, yeah.
But Game Night I've seen like 5 times now. It kills me every time. Like all of my favorite actors, like Jason Bateman, Rachel McAdams, Kyle Chandler, Jesse Plemons. Jesse Plemons is one of the funniest like deadpan characters of all time in that movie.
You have your review does have the best, like one of the best jokes in all of movies at the start.
Yeah.
Like how can that be profitable for Frito-Lay? That's just fun.
That kills me every damn time. But yeah, anyways, that's what I've been watching. We won't harp on it too long. But before we get into our normal stuff, let's go through what's happened on this day in film history. So in 1962, Oscar-nominated The Manchurian Candidate was released. The first ever Toronto International Film Festival opened in 1976 today, which we obviously covered this year's Toronto International Film Festival probably 4 or 5 weeks ago now. High School Musical 3 was released in theaters in 2008. I think that might be the only one that got a theatrical release. Maybe I'm mistaken, but I remember going to that in theaters, and that was hype.
Did those not get a theatrical release?
The first one for sure was a Disney Channel release.
Really?
Yeah. But
interesting.
Loved those as a kid, as I'm sure many people can relate. John Wick was released in theaters in 2014. That's just a series that keeps on giving. And then most importantly, ReelTok episode 7 was released today. Big news. So again, stop what you're doing right now, whether you're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, rate us 5 stars, subscribe. You know, I'm just going to keep harping in your ear until you make it happen.
Great transition.
Clean plug.
He loves these, doesn't he? He doesn't
so clean.
All right, but let's get into the meat and potatoes here. Black Adam. Let's give it a review. I'm going to withhold my statements until we let some others take the floor. So we're going to start off with George here. Let's dive into Black
spoilers
Adam.
And non-spoilers, right?
Correct.
I feel like this one.
Right. I'll quickly set the stage with just like a one sentence or two, which Black Adam is such a cultural, like, in terms of everyone in the media knows about it, so I'm not going to harp on it too long. But obviously, newest entrance into the DCEU was in the works for basically over a decade. The Rock says he put all his chips into the table for this one. It's kind of been his passion project. The hype around this movie kind of ran wild with people saying this is going to change the future of the DCEU. Obviously, 99% of us know that all the post-credit scenes were leaked, and they kind of even use that in their marketing. So been a wild run up to this movie releasing, and it's finally released for the masses. George, take it away. What are your thoughts on Black Adam?
The Rock has not saved the DCEU, unfortunately.
Did he change the hierarchy of power, though?
He did not change the hierarchy of power. This was an incredibly disappointing movie, and I think it would have gotten a lower score for me if I didn't expect it to be disappointing. Once The Rock started spoiling the fact that Henry Cavill was in the movie, I kind of just figured they understood they made a bad movie and they didn't want a box office failure. So how do you avoid that? You spoil the fact that Superman is coming back because everyone's going to lose their goddamn minds. It was just an incredibly surface level movie, incredibly lazy dialogue. I thought The Rock just played the exact same character he plays in every single movie. He just put he just put a black suit on for this one and called himself a superhero. Every single character was lifeless. I thought the Justice Society was done absolutely dirty. I know this wasn't their movie, so I didn't really expect them to have been fleshed out as well as, maybe I had expected, but I did not expect Atom Smasher to have turned into this comedic relief, horny teenage character that was useless on screen. The villain, I said this in my TikTok review, and I will stand by this, is just as bad, maybe worse than Malekith from Thor: The Dark World. I thought his motives were horrific. He's had no compelling characteristics. He ended up turning into a very cliche CGI clusterfuck in the last fight, and it was tough to watch. I gave this movie a 2.5 out of 5 stars. I think that's incredibly generous. The more I talk about this movie and the more I think about it, I think it should be a 1.5 out of 5.
Just drop it. That's what I've been doing.
It took 15 years to make a piece of shit. There were scenes, Cam, you had texted me, where The Rock was flying around that just looked bad. I cannot believe I'm seeing people on TikTok call this movie like visually pleasing and telling me that the CGI was good, because it fucking wasn't.
That scene where he's flying down with his head.
Oh, dude, that's such a meme.
Yeah, with like that hit.
So
It's such, oh my god, it's just
because he looks like a thumb.
I was laughing so much.
There were just so many things in this movie that just had me shaking my head. I thought none of the comedy worked. I know the woman's brother was supposed to be like the comedic relief character.
Oh,
didn't fucking make me laugh at all. So yeah, just bland, boring. Also expected. I did not go into a Black Adam movie with high expectations. Anything The Rock makes, I mean, what's the best fucking movie he's been in? Fast 5, which is not even that great of a movie. So
the other guys,
Fighting with My Family. I have not. I've heard it's very good.
I have not seen Fighting with My Family.
I've heard it's very good. But
George, I think you should drop your rating on this one.
I think I'm going to. The more I talk about this movie, the more disappointing it is for me. So yeah, that's
Can I go next, because I just want to.
You're next, man.
So This is where you're really going to see like my superhero bias, because I'm about to rip this movie apart just as much as George, but I still have given it like a positive review, if you want to call it that. Like I gave it a 3 out of 5 or a 58 out of 100 in the real important rating system. And I think that just comes from like, it's quick. It's only 2 hours. A 2-hour movie, I don't think drags too much. It is a fun time, I would say. Like there is a lot of action, and I think you see a lot of cool things. So like I enjoyed it more than I didn't, is what I say. But I also have a lot of like issues with it, like George does, and we can get into more of them during spoilers. But I do want to say, George, you said the villain didn't have a compelling storyline. You forget he is the last descendant of a person that ruled 6,000 years ago. You don't know your fucking timeline. Shut up.
It also
6,000 years ago.
It also came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like out of nowhere, he just says, "I'm the last descendant." Like, shut the fuck up, bro.
Dude, it was like 582 BC or 5,820 BCE. You don't know who the hell was there then. Shut up. That pissed me off. I'm sorry. There's just a lot of shit in this movie, man. I texted George after, and I'm excited. I'm sorry, Tyler. We're kind of like ripping this apart, even though you and I have it at like the same score. I know you enjoyed it more than us, whatever. But I agree with George. Like I see a lot of people, and maybe I'm not credible because I am an MCU fan, but I also think I am somewhat competent. Like I see a lot of people complain about the CGI in the MCU and other superhero projects in general. And I don't think any of this looked as like egregiously bad as sometimes you get in the MCU, where like, Yelena is in the sky in Black Widow and it's clearly a green screen behind her or whatever. But I think this whole movie looked quite bad, like comparatively. I think this looked really bad. The slow-mo is off-putting. I hate the slow-mo. Maybe you like it.
Bro,
maybe
where did the slow-mo come from?
It's so much, and they do like an X-Men Apocalypse scene like with Quicksilver, but it's so much worse. I also, one point I want to say is like this originally was supposed to be R, allegedly. You can totally see that. Like I could totally tell that this was supposed to be R at one point. Like there are some brutal kills. They just don't have like gore or whatever. And I think that's really what, instead of like zapping a person and then bleeding to death, it just like goes to dust. And I think that's how you like distinguish between R and PG-13, But my issue also is like it tries to be really serious and really dark, and yet there's so much comedic relief. You got this fucking kid telling The Rock to use a catchphrase. Oh my god, it really bummed me out. It's something I really wanted to like a whole lot. I have a lot more points, but I don't want to, I talk all the time, so I'll let Seth go, and then I'll make some points later.
Yeah, on the contrary to George, I actually was quite happy with this because I thought I would give this like a half a star. Like I thought, and I'll be honest, the first hour I probably would have given it like a 1.5 star. Like this is not me being like a hater, because I feel like a lot of people say that you're a hater. No, it's just my opinion. I'm not hating on the film, but that is some of the worst dialogue and one of the worst scripts I've seen in a long time. Like that's not overstating the mark. That is like the joke delivery, how predictable it was, the comical characters didn't work at all. The villain was terrible, but I quite liked the final sequence.
I did too. No, I liked it actually.
Like I don't know why. Like I was start for the first hour. There was a scene where it must have been the first half an hour where Black Adam like goes towards next to the pyramids, whatever. He flies towards them. The first slow-mo shot. Do you remember? And it's like I can't remember what song plays in the background, but anyway, I just found it like hilarious. Like the first hour, me and Anna were literally laughing. And bear in mind, Anna's like a massive MCU fan. She doesn't laugh at MCU films. She was laughing at this. Like there is some hysterical moments in here that aren't meant to be hysterical, and the comical jokes they try to put out, they're not funny. However, for the final like hour, I don't know why I weirdly enjoyed it. Like I think it was just the dumb fun, the action. Even though I don't think it looked great, I found the villain like interestingly shit, if that makes sense. Like he wasn't a good villain, but he just looked funny, and he like his sort of fight scenes were just funny. And I think as well, like, I enjoyed those bits more because they didn't have a lot of talking in. Like, they were the scenes with like the minimal dialogue, so I enjoyed it a lot more. But I gave this a 2.5 out of 5. I thought I would give this a lot lower. I actually enjoyed it. I think the soundtrack was really good. I just think it was dumb fun. I don't think it was a well-made film at all. I think it had a really bad script. But I think I actually understand why people like Tyler enjoyed it a lot more than me, because it was just kind of stupid fun. Like that's it. However, maybe I was a little bit generous with the 2.5, but it was just, yeah, I don't know. It was okay. It was fine.
All right. Well, for my thoughts, I feel like if people haven't seen my review already, they're expecting me to say, like, I feel like you guys have been hyping this up as if I I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars, but I feel you guys are like, sorry, Tyler, like, I know you like got on your knees and sucked this movie off, but,
no, but your review was like more positive than ours.
Yeah. So for me, kind of agree with what you all said. The CGI was shoddy in some parts, but the visuals I actually quite enjoyed. Like that Dr. Fate scene at the end, I was quite enjoying how that was shot and that was filmed. A lot of the landscape scenes I personally really enjoyed, but CGI, when the villain came, that was kind of the nail in the coffin where I was like, they didn't nail these visuals whatsoever. I freaking love how they made The Rock, like when they took away like his powers, whatever, they're like, look how skinny and pathetic this loser is, when it's like a physique that
like
all of us would kill for. We would all kill for that. Well, not just us, like any gym bro would like kill for the skinny, pathetic loser, you suck, like The Rock physique. I wonder if that was like him being like, hey, yo, we're not going to make me look completely shitty in this movie.
Yeah, he's like, you can bring me down a little, but not too much, all right?
That being said, though, like, he got, obviously, like, he's always been massive, but he got more massive than ever for this movie. He got too big. Like, his back neck muscles, like, he looked so thummy. He looked so thummy. Like, he legitimately, like, got too big. Like, it took me out of the movie.
Do you know what's weird? Anna said the exact same thing after watching. Like, as soon as we walked out, she was like,
cheers, Anna.
His traps look so weird.
It's because his suit didn't come all the way up.
All the way up.
Like, the traps were just, like, out of it.
It looked like a thumb. It looked...
Oh my god! And then there was one scene where he was walking and the camera was behind him, so the whole camera was just on his traps.
Yeah. But
that was a Rock decision. That was
100%.
Yeah.
The dialogue, I thought the dialogue was consistently bad, but it didn't dip. Like, I feel like the super cringy moments, like, it didn't really. There was none of like the cringiest MCU or DCEU like lines ever in this movie for me. I just thought it was consistently very bad dialogue throughout. But still, like, for me, like,
worse,
like this, like, for me, like, just compared to another movie this year, like the screaming goats and like the JBL scene where they're like dancing, those were like worse moments to me than anything this movie had in terms of like, that's cringe humor that I just hate. But it was just consistently very bad. The worst for me though was the kid, which kind of you got to be like.
I think everyone agrees with
right,
that,
but it's like, and I think a lot of people agree at least that you just can't hold like kids that, like, if they're gonna have bad like in Boyhood, in the beginning of Boyhood, when they're kids, the dialogue's not great, and for me it's like, come on, they're kids, like, you can't really blame them too much. But someone's dialogue who I hated, other than The Rock's, who was just completely mid, is Viola Davis. I love you, but every DCEU movie you're in, you're not meant to play that character. You're horrible.
She's on a laptop, dude. It's so
does
funny.
The same thing every time
she gets
appears.
her bag every time for just being on a laptop or something. I don't think she's bad as that character, actually. I think she's never there, and she's like on a fucking laptop.
I mean, she's a standout in the Suicide Squad. I thought she's playing that role incredibly well.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, just wasn't for me, but
that's fine.
Yeah. Tyler, just quickly to your point on like that kid being shitty. Every time for some reason this year, I think The Black Phone gave us 2 of the best child performances we've ever seen,
especially the girl.
Especially that girl. But like, it was the whole, it wasn't even just the 2, it wasn't even the brother or the sister. It was every single young child that was in this movie was just fucking incredible. So now every time I watch a young child actor, that's just the first, like, you can get a child actor capable of actually acting. So like, why didn't you?
I don't know if like, it's very hard to judge a performance when the script is that bad anyway.
That's fair.
Like, if you look at the line delivery, he would have been told to say things a certain way. The jokes and stuff like that, that's not his fault, so it's quite hard to actually it's quite hard to differentiate a horrendous
what the fuck was the triangle?
Can we get into spoilers, because I want to start talking about
I had like a quick, just like couple seconds of stuff to finish off before we end the non-spoiler section. But
I have a couple points as well.
But yeah, I just want to say the musical score, like I'm even higher on it than people have been praising it. Like the soundtrack as well as like the instrumental musical score, I thought was incredible from beginning to end. Every single thing goes up, whether it was a song like you said or the score. I was just like, this fucking bangs. Like, I love that. Good. That was a good score.
Did a really good job with it, especially that's the first scene where Black Adam actually appears. That was the only thing I was really paying attention to, and I was like, "Look, a pretty banging score."
Yeah, that was like the first thing my girlfriend and I said walking out of the theater. We're like, that was banging the whole movie. But yeah, my theater was. I think Seth said this too. My theater was laughing so much during this movie. Not like so. Seth, you said like you and Anna were laughing at like the non-funny parts just because it was like hysterically bad. But there was so many people like laughing at the joke. Like my theater was erupting. I was like, what's going on here?
What? Oh god, yeah, it happened all the time for me, man. There was like this woman behind me. She was like crying at every scene. Like, you know, even at the scenes where the kid's telling like The Rock what to say and stuff. She was literally in like floods of like laughing tears. I was like, funny.
I didn't understand it. And then my last comment, which is a general comment about movies, like it happens all the time where something's in a trailer but then not in the movie. But I feel like every single trailer for this we watched was The Rock flying next to the two fighter jets and he punches the one down, they eject. Never happened in this movie.
No, it didn't.
But it's not a new thing. It bothered me.
Well. Why? I think they took that out because when that trailer dropped, I can't even tell you. I don't know if you guys saw this.
So many people made fun of it.
No, not even made fun of it. So many people compared to the scene from Iron Man 1 where Iron Man was fighting alongside the two jets. Everyone literally just kept posting, why is DC doing this? Like, this is clearly a ripoff of Marvel. It was shot for shot the exact same thing. So I doubt that's the reason it wasn't in the movie, but
it could also be the R-rated thing, potentially.
Like maybe.
From
I have a couple like talking points that I wanted to bring up that like I wanted to get into before spoilers. This is like one of the more polarizing movies of the year because like we were talking about it before. I posted a video of Dr. Fate, but it was like the teen get some bitches meme, whatever, which he does do in this movie. But like a lot of people are in those comments like, this is a fun movie. If you expected anything more, you're an idiot. Why do you need like a good storyline when you're having fun and it's a cool and then other people are like, this thing's shit and like it, and I think we're kind of all in the like very middle, you know, which is fine.
I understand both sides of it. I think
it's very funny that like people like are like, why do you need, it's a comic book movie. Did you expect a good plot? Yes, honestly. Like there are plenty of comic book movies and we've talked about this, Seth. I said it the other day. I now have 11 4.5 out of 5s after doing my 2022 rankings. So I have
11.
It was 12. I now have 11. I brought one.
Oh, sorry. I was thinking in total.
So I have a lot of, so earlier this week in our group chat, we were talking to MCU rankings. I have 11 movies that are 4.5 out of 5, and then like 2 that are 5 out of 5 in the MCU. There are comic book, maybe that's too much. It doesn't matter. There are comic book movies that have like very good plots and like compelling stories. And DC has that too. The Suicide Squad, Man of Steel, I think, Wonder Woman. If we're going outside of the DCEU, the Batman, the Dark Knight movies, like there are movies with fucking good, compelling plots. So yes, it's annoying when people are getting mad at you that this movie made a shit plot, but yeah, it was a good time to watch. Don't get me wrong. And that's why I have it at a positive rating. But like, you still need more. You still made a movie. You expect people to go into this movie and be captured by the moment. Like, so that's kind of just annoying to me. It's very funny. There are a lot of people like hanging their hat on like, this movie's still so much better than everything the MCU's given us. I wouldn't be comparing this. I wouldn't be using this movie. Go use the Batman. The Batman is a lot better than the MCU movies. Don't use this one. This is not where you want to hold your ground because this one's tough. And then this is the last point, and I'm interested to hear your guys like thoughts on it. I think the DC universe in general is like almost too powerful to make like a compelling story. And maybe that's my bias in the fact that I think a lot of the MCU movies have like dumbed down their characters. Like the Hulk could just fuck up an entire city, you know, Scarlet Witch could just control everyone and kill everyone. Yeah. And I think what the DC has done is not like depowered their characters to the point that it's like they're blowing up cities. Like, is this anything? And they kind of get into it in Batman versus Superman, but then in Batman versus Superman, they make it a huge point to be like, we're out of the city, no one's near. And it's just bad dialogue, whatever, it doesn't matter. But like in this, they're like fighting in the middle of Kahndaq, and it's like, these are massive people and massive characters. Dr. Fate is an incredible magic user. Black Adam is like one of the most powerful people, just blowing up buildings and everything. And so that's just a little like issue I have with the DC universe in general. And I'd like to hear you guys' thoughts on it. Just, they have very powerful characters, like Superman's their most powerful, obviously. How do you make a compelling story about him, you know?
You do what Zack Snyder did.
And I think Man of Steel did. I agree. But it's just like, I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one that thought of that.
Well, just a quick comment on that. You say like so many DC movies just completely destroy their world. Nothing any superhero movie's ever done would have destroyed a world more than The Blip. Like, that's the most like, world-destroying thing of all time. Like, and I'm not saying that as like fuck the MCU. I'm just saying, like, when we're thinking about stuff that like legitimately would destroy a world, like The Blip would, like, the world's over at that point.
No, I agree. I'm just saying, like, when you're watching these ultra powerful characters fighting, like Hawkman's taking on Black Adam, and like he's getting shit on, but like he's not like dying right in this split second. Like, I feel like they're just all so fucking powerful that it's kind of hard to, I don't know, I keep saying it, but make a compelling story. And I'm not sure if I'm saying it great, but that's just my opinion on it. And I still love the DC universe, and I hope they figure it out, but just my thoughts.
Anyone who hasn't seen it, go to the timestamps and jump ahead, because we're going to get into spoilers now. So if you haven't seen this movie and you avoided every social media and you haven't seen spoilers, go to the timestamp, jump ahead, whatever it says. You've been warned. George, I'll kick it to you. Let's talk some spoilers.
There's just one, like, big. It's not even big. I don't even care. It's the whole final sequence with the kid and the mom rallying up the civilians of Kandar to fight these. It was just one of the most corny put together sequences I've ever seen. This one kid just stands on a fucking brick and just goes like this, and all of a sudden they're taking on these demon zombies.
Zombie things.
It just didn't. It felt stupid. It was stupid. It felt stupid because it was stupid. And then, do we want to get into the post-credit scene yet, or what?
I mean,
I just basically said it anyway.
Yeah, you said it.
Yeah, I mean, we knew it was spoiled. But if I'm Henry Cavill, and I said this in one of my TikTok videos, if I'm Henry Cavill, I'm telling Warner Brothers to fuck off. They've spent the better part of the last, like, 6-7 years actively preventing this man from playing a character he loves and a character we all love seeing him play. They need him significantly more than he needs them. If I'm him, I'm telling them to go fuck themselves, and I'm never putting on that Superman suit ever again. I don't care how much people want it. The only reason he got the post-credit scene in Black Adam was so that they could spoil the fact that he was in Black Adam, because they made a shitty movie. So that just really bugged me. And then it's so annoying seeing all of these, like, people, like, record their reactions to this in the theater. Like, you knew it was there. You fucking knew it was in the movie.
Say the name.
Stop reacting to it. You fucking knew it was there.
I love Soups. We're talking about Soups. It doesn't matter. He's a good person.
He's a great guy. But
he's a great guy. He reacts to things. There's a very funny tweet that's like, I would whip popcorn at this guy if he were in my theater, which is just.
Did you hear the woman shouting at him, like, when he was doing it?
No.
The second woman goes like, seriously? Like,
yeah, that's funny.
Listen, I'm cool with reacting to shit. I reacted like crazy when Cap picked up Thor's hammer. I reacted like I clapped when what's his name, John Krasinski showed up in Multiverse of Madness. I clap, whatever. I don't fucking care.
I'm with the theater. I'm never more than the theater.
I'm with the theater.
It's a public theater. This is the thing, isn't it? It's public.
But you knew it was in the movie. You knew it was there. You knew exactly when it was going to show up. You knew exactly how it was going to happen. I saw a million leaked videos before I saw this movie. Why are we reacting like this? It just feels so inauthentic.
I mean, it's just who he is, which is
I
fine.
will
Like,
say-
he tweeted about it. He loves Superman, which is fine. Again, it's totally cool. But again, he also he knew it happened. So.
Yeah,
I will say that the other video we posted was quite funny.
Was very
Yeah.
that was
funny.
funny.
Him getting
That
carried
one
out
was
of-
funny.
yeah.
That one
Just,
was
just for
funny.
anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, so Soups, and he's just like the massive comic book movie.
Everyone
TikToker.
knows who we're talking
Yeah,
about.
right.
Everyone.
No, but I'm talking about the videos at least.
Yeah.
He posted a video because like The Rock tweeted, said like enjoy the movie. So it's like him walking into the theater with his friends, like linked arms, walking into Black Adam. Then after the movie, it was him just like passed out, all his friends carrying him out. I genuinely laughed. I was like, that's
That,
funny.
that was very funny.
Oh, that was
Yeah.
funny.
I agree. There are a lot of things about this thing, man. The post credit scene itself like did not make sense in the movie at all. Like at all. They're buddies at the end of this thing. And so it's just like it's a half-assed. Hey, we got Henry Cavill back. We need Superman. That's fine if you got him back. Great. But make it fit with the movie at least a little. Like Hawkman at the end is like, all right, we're cool. You know, spoiler alert, but we're in spoilers, so it doesn't matter. Dr. Fate sacrifices himself. Hawkman hated Black Adam. They kind of found common ground in Dr. Fate sacrificing himself, right? And so they're pals at the end. And then you know, Amanda Waller comes in and is like, oh, you got out of my prison. No, the Dr. Fate, who you fucking hired, broke him out of the prison. And then she imprisons him to conduct, and then Superman comes in. And I put this in the news, but like they originally had a headless Superman like they did in Shazam. If you guys remember that would have, I think people would truly be done with the DCEU if they gave another headless Superman. Like they did.
Oh, did that happen already? I didn't even know.
Shazam, yeah.
Oh yeah, in Shazam they have like Superman walk up in the school because the whole time the character's like, oh, I'm friends with Superman, whatever. They have the Superman walk up, but you don't see his head, like, so he's just like walking with a tray. Doesn't matter. And then you didn't watch Peacemaker, Seth, but the Justice League shows up in Peacemaker, and they have Jason Momoa and Ezra Miller in it, but then they have a silhouette of both Wonder Woman and Superman. So you don't
if
actually
they did it again,
that.
That would have been
If they did it again, I think it would have been the nail on the coffin of people being like, fuck this, figure it out, you know. But yeah, it's just it's a lot of dumb things in this movie, and I don't know. I have a lot of points. I can kick it to someone else, but if anyone has anything to say.
I've got nothing left anyway. You may as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, this movie didn't include anything massive for us to like spoil, you know.
Yeah, there's
that's
nothing
fair.
like-
I mean, the big thing is Superman, and he was spoiled
Everyone
before.
Yeah,
But
and he was spoiled before.
Dr. Fate, the death, and I think this is, and I really, really hate how much we compare things to the MCU, and everything gets brought back to the MCU, you know, because like they are two separate things, and I think you can like them both. And I think if you're a fan of just one, and that's the reason you're not a fan of the other, you're a fucking idiot and you're a child. That's
a TikTok video right there.
That's fine.
That's the
But
clip.
that being
That's
said,
the clip.
I think I'm a little spoiled in the MCU and the fact that we've gotten multiple movies with characters, because now when like, you know, Dr. Fate sacrificed himself, it's like, I didn't care about this character enough, especially in a 2-hour movie, which I do think is a benefit, but you don't spend enough time with the Dr. Fate Pierce Brosnan character. Obviously, he can become a different character. Anyone can wear the helmet, and also like Dr. Fate is so much more interesting of a character than like say like Doctor Strange, because you know the comparison's gonna happen. And I really, really liked him in this movie. It's just one of those things where, you know, I would have liked a Justice Society movie before, rather than the classic Suicide Squad type entrance that they had, where they're like, oh, we got Cyclone. She uses wind, but she's also the smartest person in the world.
What a
And
fucking
we got
worthless power.
Noah Centineo, who's horny again, but he also grows big. And Dr. Fate, who's has the helmet. Like, shut up. The introductions for these characters, man, in these movies are so annoying, and they're so just half-assed. And even if you... Never mind. I'm not even going to compare it to MCU again.
There was a guy, I forgot to mention this. The guy who had the worst dialogue in the whole film was the like soldier guy at the start, the English guy. Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
The one who was like
he's like,
inner gang guy.
yeah. What was he saying? He was like the most like, do you want to die? Like that shit like that all the time, over and over. He was so bad. Like that. George, you know how I said about separating dialogue and acting? That's both.
Yeah.
That's just bad of each.
This movie just sucked. This movie sucked.
Yeah.
This movie sucked.
I won't
Why are
go.
you giving it a 2.5 then? We need to lower the rank.
I'm lowering that shit.
Going back
I'll,
on like
I'll make a new graphic after lowering it because I might go down to
revised.
People were annoyed as it is. People
I know. I'm right.
People succumb to hype so fucking easily. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Going back to the script and the dialogue, I feel like this script, the entire script, felt like what you write during like a storyboard session during the first draft. Feels like they made the first draft of the script. They're like, right here it'll be like a one-liner, but we're just gonna write a quick cheesy one for filler right now. We're gonna come back and like polish it off before we actually make it. But they just took that like
a 10-year-old
initial they just took that initial stupid script and just ran with it. But one thing we haven't talked about enough, that no one's talking about enough, which again, like Seth said, it's both the script and the acting. But Noah Centineo sucked in this. Like his character sucked. No one's giving it because everyone's horny for him. No one's talking about it. That he just sucked in this movie.
His comedic
chronically unfunny.
horrendous.
Like the script was terrible, but he delivered them terribly. And they decided to give him all the product placements. They're like, hey, you want a KFC ad? Hey, you want a Lay's potato chip ad? It's such an old tired trope in movies of like, let's make the super jacked guy eat all unhealthy to be relatable to the public. Like, oh, haha, this funny jacked good looking guy eats fried chicken. Like how quirky.
Cam, there was a reason I didn't know who this guy was.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, what?
Yeah,
no, he's very much a young adult actor, and he's a good looking guy. Don't get me wrong. Those are my cats.
Yeah, he's
he sucks at acting.
Yeah. I don't even I think he's good at being a young adult actor, but he's trying to get into these bigger roles now, and so we'll actually see. This movie isn't something I even think like you needed to do a good job acting in, like you just do better than that. Yeah, he's just lazy, man. And he clearly didn't really care about the character as much, and that's another thing. You can tell when these actors like care about this character. Like give The Rock, he does a lot of things like the same, but he clearly at least cares about this character, and he wanted to give it his all. And I don't think he's a bad actor. I just think he does the same thing in every movie, kind of like Ryan Reynolds. But yeah, that's it. Yeah. And another thing, it doesn't fucking make sense, man, that the reason he was imprisoned in this movie, if you haven't watched and you're just listening to the spoilers for fun, he's like, at the end, after he's like, I'll say Shazam, and then he becomes the small version of himself, whatever. And he's like, but you better not let me say it again. Why? Like you're gonna say it this time. Just come back as Black Adam to fight a villain, and then go back to being this other character. I don't know if he was ever given a name, honestly. Maybe he was, but like, what do you mean don't let me say it again? Like these powers aren't like taking you over. It's not like a Venom situation where like you can't control yourself. It's just, that's another thing. And then I'm so sorry. Again, I had a lot of things. It's a comic book movie. I have to. This trailer leans so hard on him being a slave. And there is none of that really in this movie. It leans so heavily on him being a slave. And then for most of the movie, you think it's his son. But in the trailer, it spoils it that like in the trailer, it says my son sacrificed himself to make me. So that's not a big reveal in this fucking movie. And I made a note. I was like, what happened to that entire storyline? And then they used it as like, hey, I'm not actually the son. I'm not the real champion. My son sacrificed himself, and now I'm an angrier Black Adam. It's just, I don't know. His son didn't have to sacrifice himself. You're fucking Black Adam. Just save your dad.
Are we done with Black Adam talk?
I'm done.
All right. Well,
I like the movie.
But before we move on, let's just quickly. So I gave it a 6.1 out of 10 for 3 stars. Cam,
58 out of 100. 3 stars.
Seth,
it's gonna drop. It's gonna drop.
And George, your revised rating.
I'm gonna keep it at a generous 2.5 out of 5 stars for now. Maybe upon rewatch, if I ever rewatch it.
Why would you rewatch?
Yeah, but why would I?
Yeah.
All right, well that's fair. Well, Seth, I want to get into Banshees of Inisherin later because I feel like this just kind of seamlessly rolls into the comic book movie news, and we'll start with DC because we always start with Marvel, but just talked about Black Adam. Let's go ahead and talk about DC. So first up, Walter Hamada out as president of DC Films. Should The Rock take over? Who should take over?
definitely not The Rock.
Yeah, I think that was a meme, but I don't know who should take
Everyone's
over.
saying,
Walter Amada stinks. No.
everyone's saying, oh, The Rock is changing the face of the DCEU. Like, bro, James Gunn's been doing it for the last 2 years. What the fuck are you talking about? The Rock.
And he's making good projects.
And he's making very good projects. I also think it's so funny that the news dropped that he's out as the out of DC films, and then I don't know if it was coincidental, but like all of the big DC news that came out this week happened after that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was coincidence or just a massive fuck you, but I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, I don't know. But apparently, I mean, I think this guy, I think he's just like probably most presidents of major companies. Not a good person, whatever. But he was like very instrumental in like the shit that was happening to like Ray Fisher on the original Justice League behind the scenes, like other than Joss Whedon being a piece of shit. I think he was also like, just like, hey, sucks to suck. You got to live with it when you don't. But he started the DCEU basically. I think he's been in since Man of Steel, and everyone's wanted a connected universe, and he just keeps fucking it up. So I'm glad he's out.
Well, and we just touched on James Gunn. So he's reportedly directing an unknown project for the DCEU. I think he should just direct a lot more. And like James Gunn, like what if like George kind of joked about it, but what if James Gunn took over as like the guy for the DCEU? I know it's a very different between directing a movie and constructing a universe. Because Walter Amada's out, but people like to joke about the MCU going downhill, Kevin Feige, whatever. But let's not act like that's one of like the hardest jobs ever to be able to make this connected universe. Like I think Harry Potter did it very well, and then like now the MCU. So DC needs someone new to take over the point, man. It's not going to be James Gunn, but I would love to see that. So George, you want to see more James Gunn in the DCEU? I'd imagine.
I would love to see more James Gunn, and I'm very excited that they're very quickly moving forward with him and another project. A lot of people are speculating that he's going to be the Man of Steel 2 director, which I for sure do not believe at all. But yeah, I want more James Gunn. I need more James Gunn. I've said this time and time again. Peacemaker is one of the better seasons of superhero television we have. It blows everything Marvel has done out of the water in Phase 4, TV show wise. And then the Suicide Squad being in, I think, all of our top 3 DCEU projects, I think, and definitely in mine. So give me more James Gunn. I think he handles his characters very well. I think he understands how to firmly balance comedy and drama and also give us brutality that we're looking for, because the DCEU started off as being that was the biggest comparison between DC and Marvel. That Marvel was very lighthearted, DC was the brutal one, and then that kind of got off the rails, and James Gunn's the one that's kind of bringing it back. So give me as much James Gunn as fucking possible.
Is it not weird that like this has there been another director that's worked with both Marvel, MCU, and DC, or is this the only one?
No, this is the only one.
Muted.
I don't know off the top of my head, but probably is all.
I thought about that then. I was like,
Joss Whedon, technically.
Yeah, Joss Whedon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's one.
Just a question. I thought.
Speaking of Man of Steel 2, James Gunn probably not going to be directing it. I love James Gunn. I fucking love James Gunn, but I don't know if I ever really want him directing Man of Steel 2, honestly. But it's officially in development. I think we're all. Well, I know George and I are super excited about this. Came out. Did drop or did not?
It did drop before the movie came out. I think it was Wednesday, right? When all these things came out. Great. Yep. Awesome. Shout out DC for that.
Good timing.
Good timing. Yeah, right.
That's super not coincidental at all.
Yeah. I'm excited. I think we all have it at a 4.5 out of 5.
Yeah.
I do.
Great movie.
I mean, it's on my lower end of it. Like, I think I have it at 85 or 86, but really
with
good.
Man of Steel 2 coming, though, they did also say Superman versus Black Adam, them fighting is not what the end goal of the DCEU is. They want to take a long time to tell a story within the DCEU and connect everything and make it a broad and deep extended universe, which that just like makes me laugh, because of course you're trying to do.
I don't believe it at all. I don't believe that for a fucking second.
Yeah, I mean,
this is a Rock quote, by the way. So this is just what he said like during his press tour with the Shazam. So honestly, does he know anything about what they want to do? Probably not, but maybe he does. I mean,
he's so powerful at this point, though, like, and so rich and influential that he can kind of say shit like that, and then people will be like, well, fuck, now we're going to have to make that happen.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know. I mean, it's just him saying one-liners like he does to try to drum up hype, but he's like, yeah, I want this long deep culture of the DCEU, but like you just fired your president and like have no clue what you're doing. Like how can you say that that's your plan? How do you even have a plan?
Firing the president, good.
The title of this episode should be DCEU sucks.
I mean, that'll be the thumbnail. That'll for sure be on the thumbnail.
Yeah.
Dude,
we're gonna get like pissed. We're gonna have piss off half the DC fans.
DC is a mess.
No one's gonna watch it. Yeah.
Speaking of people who suck in the DCEU, Ezra Miller is being considered to be replaced. He's been considered to be replaced for a long time. But George McKay, or I think I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. He's got one of those like European names that I pronounce wrong all the time. It's like Mackie McKay. I don't know, but I love him a lot. Like he's one of my favorite actors. He's being considered to replace Ezra Miller. I think that would work. I think that would work. But the Flash 2 script's already been written. What would you guys think of George Mackie, sorry, whatever it is, replacing Ezra Miller as Flash?
Good. Anyone can replace him, yeah. Anyone can replace them. It doesn't matter though, man. It's just like the fucking why? How's the Flash 2 script already written? You haven't gotten the first one, and I don't know. It's another one of those things. Like, why? I don't know. It's inconsequential DC news that it doesn't matter yet, and I hope it happens, but it doesn't matter yet. So, yeah.
All right. Well, we'll leave it there. Kind of exiting the DCEU, the Batman spin-off film.
Okay.
Go ahead, Cam.
No, I was gonna say I thought you were skipping over this. This is the important news.
No, so I'm a big try to make things flow. So I'm getting out of the DCEU, and now we're going to the Batman spin-off films and TV shows. In the works, we'll focus on villains: Scarecrow, Clayface, Professor Pie. The Batman universe gets me so bricked up. I think I mentioned it last week or the week before that I'm not a huge comic book movie fan. I like the MCU and the DCEU. I wouldn't say anything more than I like them, but the Batman universe, I don't know why. I fucking love it. Give me TV shows, movies. I just love that Gotham, these characters, these stories. I might be in the minority there. I think George obviously loves it as well, but I love this. I'm excited to see where they go. A little worried, but I'm excited.
I think Batman like is the comic book place for people who don't love superhero movies.
Yeah,
like that's just like for me as well. Like, I obviously don't really watch much superhero films at all, but the Batman universe is something that I will always watch because it's darker. It appeals to more audiences. I think that's pretty normal. I think like I would be exactly the same as you with that.
Yeah, I agree. It's just better. You know, I think the reason you like it. I think the reason you like it is because the Batman. It's only one film, and it's in its universe as of now is one of the best comic book movies of all time. You know, it's already up there, and if you don't think that, that's fine. But I do, and I think a lot.
As in the Batman.
Yeah, the Batman, like the movie from 2022, I believe is one of the best comic book movies of all time already. It gives us a lot of hope going into the Joker character with Barry Keoghan, like with that little tease.
I had so many Irish people shouting at me for that. You know, apparently it's Keoghan.
But
then I searched it, right? And then he says Keoghan, but then people are still shouting at me. So surely he would know how to pronounce his own name. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I've Googled it so many times, and it gives me a different answer every time. So I've given up.
Those Irish names fuck me over every time, and they get so defensive because it's always that guy from About Time, Domhnall. I'm like Dominal, and they're like, it's Donal or something like that. I'm like, well, get rid of the 3 consonants in the middle of the name then.
And then you always ask me. It's like I'm getting shouted at myself. Do you know what? You know the Banshees review? I had so many say, you didn't say the place wrong. It's not even a real place. Why does it matter? You know what I mean? Like, it's not even, it doesn't even exist. Why does it matter if I said it wrong?
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's great.
I get them as well.
Yeah.
Anything else we want to talk about the Batman universe, George?
I just echo everything Cam says, and then everything you as well say. There's so much to explore in a Batman universe. So to see it starting from scratch in a really fucking awesome way with this movie, I'm excited. It's hard not to be excited. I know they're looking to explore Arkham Asylum is where we'll see more Barry Keoghan, whatever the fuck his name is. I'd love to see separated projects focusing on origin stories of villains a little more. I think that's, as much as I love the Dark Knight trilogy, I think that's something that Christopher Nolan lacked a little bit, is origin stories of these characters. And I know the Joker's backstory in The Dark Knight is supposed to be, ominous and left up for interpretation, but there's so many amazing Batman comics, from The Long Halloween to Dark Victory, that really just dissect these incredible villains. So if Matt Reeves is going to do that, I'm fully set in stone to do it. I'd love to see the Court of Owls come into play. I'd love to see a lot of dissection on Penguin and Arkham Asylum. So it's great news. It's fantastic news with the shitty DCEU news that we have right now. It's nice to see Matt Reeves actually taking care of a couple of beloved characters.
I will say, I think with the Joker alone, the Joker's the only character I think this works for. But the less you know about him, the better character he is.
I agree. I agree.
Have you seen the Killing Joke? The animated movie? It's not very good, but it really dives into the Joker character, and I think that's like a flaw of it almost. Is like, you know too much about this guy, and it's like, I don't think that's the Joker. And I'm not a comic book reader.
I will say, the Killing Joke comic graphic novel is one of the best Batman graphic novels ever, and I will say the movie did not do it justice.
When did this come out?
Remotely. The movie a couple years ago, maybe.
I don't know.
I haven't seen this.
It's animated.
Oh, okay, that's why. I don't watch animated.
It's animated.
Well, moving off go ahead, Cam. I was gonna say moving off the DC universe, but well, just one thing. Like, when we kept talking about like mispronouncing names, what I think's funny is I feel like people's names that are celebrities or in pop culture are just what people call them. Like, it's just an unfortunate truth. Like, one thing that Cam might know about, but I know the other two don't watch football, is like the best tight end of the league for the Chiefs, Travis Kelce. Like, I don't know if it was a joke or whatever, but he just said like 2 years ago, he's like, my name's actually not pronounced Kelsey, but everyone's been calling him that for like 10 years. So it's just like when with actors, with celebrities, I feel like it's like whoever the first person in the media pronounces your name, you're just stuck with that. Like, I'm sorry, like, even if it's completely wrong, that's just the way it's going to go. But now we're going to get into Cam Walsh 27's favorite segment of the podcast. Marvel. I like it all. Marvel. First up, we got Adam Driver reportedly meeting with Marvel for an upcoming film in Fantastic Four. Don't know what part the casting's going to be there, if he's going to be, I don't know, Reed Richards, or if he's going to be a villain, or whatever's going to happen there. I don't really dig this or hate this, but I want to hear your guys' thoughts. George, you made a face.
I don't like this at all. First off, I will admit that I am not up to speed on like Fantastic Four comics as much as I am. Like, this right here is like mostly DC comics. I have read a good chunk of Fantastic Four graphic novels. I just don't think Adam, and obviously he could prove me wrong, but I just don't. There are significantly better options. I have been pushing for Jason Sudeikis to be Reed Richards. I think he would fit the comedic role that we know is coming into the MCU pretty well. He's not my first choice, but
you don't know that's coming.
It's coming. It's coming. Reed Richards is going to be cracking jokes left and right.
Well, if they do, Jason Sudeikis would be good.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So if they're going the classic MCU route, I think Jason Sudeikis is a good pick. But there's so many better choices, like Rahul Kohli from Midnight Mass and Haunting of Bly Manor. I think he'd be a fantastic casting. Adam Driver, I just can't see him in this role. I can't see him playing like an incredibly intelligent man. For some reason, I think I just have Kylo Ren way too stuck in my brain to see him in a hero's role. So I don't know.
And Seth, you said really, Seth, which is shocking to me. I think Adam Driver's just like an incredible actor.
I think he's a great actor.
So I'm not gonna say this is a bad thing. Like, getting good actors into the MCU or any type of universe is not a bad thing at all. It is a little odd for Fantastic Four. He's not going to be Johnny Storm or the Thing, that's for sure. He's going to be Reed Richards, or he's going to be
Doctor Doom.
Doctor Doom. Thank you.
I would love that. That's
what I'd prefer more, is
that.
Dr.
I would
Doom,
love.
And that's kind of where I think he is. But I'd also, I'm okay if they go like an not unnamed, but like a lesser known actor for these roles, and just roll with them for 10, 12 years. How old is Adam Driver? 38?
Mid to late 30s?
Yeah, so he's probably late 30s, which it's not too old, but it's like at 50, I'd say he probably doesn't want to play these roles anymore.
But also, when the MCU started off, that's where they kind of thrived. Like, obviously, Robert Downey Jr. was a household name, but he wasn't being cast in anything because of his history with drugs
a lot,
or shit. So, like, by the time he came back to the MCU, everyone had forgotten about him. And then same thing, like Chris Evans was essentially a no-name except for playing Johnny Storm, which everyone obviously just didn't love him in. Same with Chris Hemsworth. Same with Natalie Portman, Scarlett Johansson. Like these weren't like A-list actors and actors.
I wouldn't say Scarlett Johansson was like, she did the Prestige.
Yeah, she was in a few, but she was never this household. Like Adam Driver is a household name right now. Like him and Chalamet are like leading this like next generation of actors in Hollywood right now, and get new actors. That's why I think horror movies. We'll always talk about horror movies. Succeed the way they do.
We can talk about them as much as you want, George.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fine.
But they bring in these no-name actors and actresses, and it makes things just feel more authentic. You guys see that bug?
No.
I thought you were just reacting to something.
No, it's a fucking bug just harassed me.
Yeah, I got it with you though, George. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, and just briefly,
Thanks,
like
kid.
speaking of like horror movies and how like they often succeed, Smile is just continuing to crush it at the box
Killing
office.
it.
Like just raking in money.
Mental.
It's because it's good.
You
Seth.
went and saw it, Seth.
Yeah, because
You're
it's
the
a horror.
problem.
Bro,
You're
do
the
you think I
problem.
wouldn't go and see something that's a horror?
No.
Like I'll go and see Pray for the Devil next week, but it'll be bad. Like it's gonna be terrible.
I don't know if I'm going to see that.
Really?
It looks so
You
bad.
know, bro. You know you'll see that. Like you know you will.
I know, but it just looks like
If it gets
looks
good
like,
reviews, he'll see it. I feel like.
No,
Maybe.
that.
I mean, like,
Well,
why?
Smile has.
We'll
got
see. We'll see. I'll decide next week.
Yeah, okay, so.
All right. Well, next piece of news: Spider-Man 4 releasing July 12th, 2024. It's reported to be a direct sequel to Daredevil: Born Again, and it's supposed to be a very grounded movie with street-level threats. And now, I have the utmost faith in the Spider-Man movies. They've really given me no reason to think negatively of them, but I feel like this like almost could be not received that like I feel like as a Marvel kind of like slapping pundits in the face, because I feel like that's something so many people ask for with superhero movies. They're like, man, we just need like a Spider-Man film where he's just like fighting crime on the streets, no big threats, and like that would just be so awesome, just like the comics. And then I feel like when it comes to fruition, the movie happens at that grounded level. I just don't think it's going to translate as well as everyone hopes it will. But also at the same time, when they say this, I just don't trust Marvel. I just think at the end of this or something, like there's no way this is going to be 2 hours straight of ground level threats that never connect to some bigger ulterior thing. I don't really trust it, but yeah, let's hear. Cam, what do you think?
This is Sony, first of all.
Sony,
It
but
is,
it's still
it is in them,
yeah.
but it's Sony producers, Sony directors, Sony script, just with MCU, like, hey, throw this in. And also I've seen a lot of things that are like, we don't want Daredevil in this show. Why does Spider-Man always have to have an MCU character with him? You want to know why? It's in the contract. That's why. Sony says, hey, you can have this character, but we want one of your characters to appear in the movie. So that's why they have Iron Man. That's why they had who was in the second one, Nick Fury, and then that's why we have Doctor Strange. So there's your little history lesson. Is this confirmed July 12th, 2024?
Right now, yes.
It's confirmed as it
I
can
didn't.
be.
I
I'd
thought
be-
this was a rumor.
It could move.
I didn't see this. I thought it was a
There's-
rumor.
I mean, there's a 100% chance it gets pushed back.
Yeah, that's fair. I didn't see this. So when it was in the rundown, I was like, oh, cool. I don't want John Watts to come back. I think he did good for his trilogy. Did really well for his trilogy, I should say. But I'd like to see a new director. Just give your own trilogy. Obviously, we're going to get 3 more Spider-Man movies, because if not with Tom Holland, we're going to get them with someone else. So you might as well make it with Tom Holland, right? But if you've seen No Way Home, which you have, you'll know where he's at right now, and he's on his own, doesn't have any money, any Aunt May, any love interest. So this is good. I'm excited for it. You know, don't know a whole lot, but we'll see how it
Can I
plays
just
out.
say, you know, we were speaking like George McKay, whatever.
Yeah.
He looks like a Spider-Man.
Yeah, he does.
He does.
It's just
he
because
does.
he got a generic white dude face.
No.
Yeah,
That's
he's
just, like,
white and
innocent-
20.
I think Cam looks like Spider-Man too.
No.
That was a little rude. I could look like Spider-Man before he gets bit by the spider and doesn't have any.
Cam, I have a question for you.
Yeah, what's up?
So I think it's pretty obvious that Tom Holland is kind of tapped out of the Spider-Man role right now. I don't think he's thinking about this long
Yeah,
term.
probably not.
What would your thoughts of
Go Miles Morales.
exactly that was exactly what my points are. What were your thoughts on whatever the next Spider-Man movie would be? Kill off Tom Holland's Spider-Man, but prior to killing him off, having introduced a Miles Morales to take over his man.
Who would you cast?
Awesome. I I don't know off the top of my hand. The guy from Stranger Things.
Caleb McLaughlin.
Stranger
Caleb
Things.
McLaughlin. I don't know. Who's that kid from fucking like Grown Ups 2, but he's grown up now.
Chris Rock.
No.
Chris Rock with Spider-Man.
You just
In his
DH him like crazy.
No, he's grown up now.
But anyway, to the point of Spider-Man 4, I think this opens so many opportunities.
Najee Jeter.
Peter Parker, Tom Holland Spider-Man, I think, has taken a backseat in his last 4 movies he's appeared in. Obviously, Tobey and Andrew appearing in No Way Home, Endgame and Infinity War, he's nowhere near the main character. And even in Far From Home, I think Jake Gyllenhaal outshines him like fucking crazy. So I think there's a lot of opportunity to just really dissect Tom Holland as a Peter Parker as opposed to a Spider-Man in this movie. I don't want to see Ned. I don't want to see MJ in the next Spider-Man
I'd be
movie.
fine with them, like seeing them, not like
Seeing them, but I don't want the whole movie trying to be like Peter Parker, like reconstructing his life. I want to see him accept the fact that this happened and he needs to move on. And I think that potential opens a lot of doors for an emotional farewell to Tom Holland as Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
My worry is that they have Into the Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse, whatever the 4th movie's gonna be. Or 3rd movie, sorry. I don't know if they'll do a live action Miles Morales, but if bring it into that, bring it into this world, like after Across the Spider-Verse, make it all live action. I don't know. That's the one thing they have going for them right now. So milk that as much as you can, Sony.
I think it'd be really comical if they killed off Tom Holland, like you said, and had a Miles Morales replace him. But they did it in Spider-Man 4, where it's like Tom Holland, Superman or Spider-Man has fought off all these otherworldly beings and crazy villains, but then just have like some thug that's robbing a 7-Eleven be the one to actually kill Spider-Man. There's like Miles Morales taking over now.
Yeah, it's fair.
But yeah, next piece of MCU news: Florence Pugh is reportedly getting paid 8 figures to star in Thunderbolts and another upcoming MCU film. She's a great actress.
Good for her.
8 figures sounds so much. I mean, okay, it's a lot of fucking money, but it sounds a lot more than it actually is.
Yeah, it's not a lot.
Scarlett Johansson for Black Widow was paid $20 million, and that was after a long legal battle, a lot of lawsuits. So Marvel and Disney were not interested in trying to go down that road again and get trapped again with an accusations.
That's
of
only because it
went
to streaming.
Right, but still, it was bad. It was very bad. Like PR and like Scarlett Johansson was very disgruntled. So basically, 8 figures means she's probably getting $20-ish million for 2 films, $10 million a film. Based on salaries these days for these movies, it's not that crazy. Like that's pretty.
I mean, if you're gonna pay a young female actress that, you pay Florence Pugh that, don't you? Like, she is that good. So
the only thing is, she won't be like the main star of these movies. Like, she's not going to be like the lead. So like that's where I could see like 8 figures is kind of crazy.
That's not true. She is going to be.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's leading the Thunderbolts. She's the main character, and same with the next movie.
Also, her name will attract people to come over to the MCU.
Yeah. Well, then you know what? I'm dropping a new take. 8 figures isn't enough if she's leading 2 movies.
Has anyone made more like in the MCU? How much did like Robert Downey and
Downey Jr. made $75 million for Endgame?
I mean,
but he had like a very interesting, lucrative contract that was different than everyone else's. So he's kind of an outlier.
Didn't Vin Diesel make like
Vin Diesel make the shit ton for fucking
crazy? Yeah, saying the same thing.
But that's the thing. I mean, it's the MCU, so they made $2 billion on Endgame. You think they're like, 10 million isn't that much? They'll make money. They're gonna make I bet Thunderbolts makes $1 billion. So it's like, I bet they have written in their contract you're gonna make this much, and then you'll make whatever 5% of the box office. So it's gonna amount to a ton. And like when I read this, I was like, holy shit, 8 figures. And then I'm like, 10 million for the MCU. It's not
yeah, I kind of think of it now. I'm like,
if they want to pay me 10 million, I'd be cool with that. I've also seen that like your first movie actors and directors in the MCU don't make more than 600 or 6 figures. And then I've seen like afterwards you just to the moon. So good for her. Who cares?
Interesting.
It's Florence Pugh, so
yeah. Well, we'll wrap up Marvel talk there and transition into another Disney property. Talk about some Star Wars here. So here, before I read this news, this is just what I picture on our Google Doc where we all collaboratively plan this. I picture Cam writing, or someone. I feel like someone wrote Darth Vader will appear in Andor. I feel like George went in and said Common Disney L. I feel like George probably did all that, and then Cam under it says Then Cam under it goes, this is very much from an unconfirmed random Twitter account. So where are we here, guys? Is this a thing? Is Darth Vader appearing in Andor?
I have no idea.
Yeah,
I saw
it's
2 or
unconfirmed
3
story.
tweets about it that looked official. So I hope fucking not.
Put in Palpatine because that makes sense with the story. Don't bring in Darth Vader. That's where I'm at with it.
Or just don't do either.
The story they're telling is so big within the Senate and stuff. Like Palpatine would make sense.
I guess
It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's again, it's an unconfirmed Twitter source, so it could be just bullshit.
Yeah,
Are
so
you
We're
sure
also-
it wasn't like
we're also
discussing
Running
film?
through this.
I was just
podcast.
gonna say that George is might have just got disbust once again,
Yeah.
or well, what Cam succumbed to. But
Yeah, I might have.
going off of Disney,
Yeah, I bet you have.
Tim Burton made some controversial comments this week, saying Disney is a horrible big circus. Is this Angry Man yells at cloud? Does he have ground to stand on? Is this anything, or just Martin Scorsese saying that comic book movies aren't cinema all over again?
Yeah, but that's true, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean this is a very
That's right,
acclaimed.
Cam's face for that.
Yeah. This is a very acclaimed filmmaker, basically just saying he doesn't like formulaic shit. So
There'll always be people.
Dude
like
made
this.
Dumbo. Fuck off. The movie sucks.
He has made some great films though.
Yes.
There's always going to be people like this, isn't
Yeah.
there? With any superhero, with any franchise that just milks things, there are always going to be people like this who say
Exactly.
stuff. So
Doesn't matter.
it is what it is.
Okay, well, transitioning into Seth and George's realm of the world with horror, Conjuring 4 is officially in the works. I know Cam's very excited for this, but George, Seth, how do you feel about the Conjuring series?
I don't know, George. I don't know how you feel about the first one. I really liked the first one. I give it
Yeah.
a 4 out of 5.
I think we can like lump like the Conjuring 4 and then the Saw 10 used together because I have the exact same thoughts. I love the first Conjuring. I have it a 4.5 out of 5 stars.
4.5. It's
I
great.
think it is one of the most influential supernatural horror films out
It's
there.
scary as well. I'll
It's
say
fucking
that.
frightening. Same thing with Saw. I love the first one. I have it a 4.5 out of 5 star. I think it is incredibly influential in the torture porn genre, and they're both incredible movies. Could not care less about any movie that came after.
Dude,
You don't
I
like 2 or 3 of the.
didn't mind Conjuring 3, but
I
I didn't love it.
have seen
Conjuring-
all the Conjuring.
Oh, sorry, Conjuring.
Fun fact.
Oh, you've seen them?
Wow, really?
All of them. All the
I didn't
Conjurings, the
mind-
Nun. I've seen. What else is connected to it? I think I've seen the Annabelles.
Annabelle's.
Um,
My thing with Saw is like the first Saw movie is like a movie with genuinely compelling characters, a compelling plot that I enjoyed
Good
watching.
twist.
That included torture porn. It was a movie with torture porn. Every
There was
Saw
some
movie,
scenes.
every Saw movie after that has felt like torture porn with a movie or just with characters. Like they focused way too much on, the frightening aspect of watching
didn't
someone
work.
cut their hand off, and it just didn't work because, I love gore, I love scares, but like I just didn't care about why anything was happening in any of the movies. I thought Spiral was not terrible, believe it or not. I didn't think it was horrific.
I don't think.
I know it gets a bad rap. I don't think it's as bad as everyone says it is.
What did you give it?
I think a 3 out of 5 stars.
Okay, I think it like 2 or 2.5. I don't think it was terrible.
I think
gave
it's
it
like
a
the
2.
latest Hellraiser. It's not a good movie, but I can respect the fact that they tried to bring new life to this basically worn out franchise.
Mhm.
And then The Conjuring, I don't know. I haven't loved anything as much as Conjuring.
Do you not like Conjuring 2?
I don't really.
I don't think
Conjuring 2 was too like. I think it was kind of dull. I give it like a 3. I thought it was okay, but
I gave it a 3.5.
I didn't. Did you see the third one? Yeah, you have seen the third one. What did you think of that? I thought it was terrible.
I have that low, but
I have it like a 2.
2 maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have 81, 72, 63 actually. So not. I mean that's a 3, but not like,
Really for the third one. I'm surprised.
Yeah. Yeah. So 4, 3.5, 3. I mean, I think they're better than a lot of like shitty horror movies that I've seen. They're better than like The Nun or like Texas Chainsaw Massacre from this year or like some other shitty horror movies that I've seen. So
I think it depends. Like the first one, really good. Second one, I didn't love, but it was okay. Third one, but I'm not really that bothered. I'll watch it, obviously.
Yeah.
But is James Wan directing it again?
I would hope.
I don't know.
I think it's in very early development, so it's just Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson.
Vera Farmiga, she's
She's great.
Really
She's so great.
She's
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think I'll watch it, but I'm not holding too much expectations due to how
Money.
Well, it's horror. We speak about this every episode. Horror franchises, you don't have to do much.
They're gonna make 3,000% of their profits.
Yeah, so good for them.
Quickly on the Saw movies, I ran through that whole franchise up to like Saw 6 or 7 or so, about probably a decade ago. And totally agree with everything George said. Like the first one's super great, intriguing, and then it just becomes way too much torture porn. But there was just that, like the villain was intriguing enough, and there was a whole like operation. Like it's been a long time since I've seen these fucking movies, but there was like enough of that there in each one that just like kept me hanging on. And it was just like slowly every movie that came out after, just less and less. I was like, I'm out. By the time I was at Saw 6, I'm like, I'm just not even enjoying this. But
did you guys see Jigsaw?
I did not.
I've only seen Saw and Spiral.
Okay, Jigsaw was pretty bad as well, to be honest.
Yeah, I had hopes for Spiral. I thought it was going to be like another one, like almost like a new Scream or a new what else was this year? Maybe I'm thinking of Ghostbuster Afterlife, but like those aren't bad movies.
No, Ghostbuster Afterlife is ass.
No, it's not that bad.
Continuing to chug along, Tilda Swinton no longer attached to the Adam McKay Parasite series,
which I didn't even know was happening. Like.
Yeah.
What?
Put that.
Why is this being made?
Because Americans Americans.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's
subtitle hard.
Yeah,
it's the Old Boy remake all over again.
Yeah. Oh, but that being said, I said this the other day. Adam McKay is my favorite director. I'm not gonna. Really? Yeah, I said
that's what I said. That was my reaction.
I'm not saying he's the best. He is my favorite director. So just the fact that I fucking love the Big Six, Step Brothers, the other guys in Anchorman. Like I love all of those movies. The Big Short. Sorry, thank you.
Oh yeah, Big Short. Big Short's really good.
The Big Short's incredible. Anchorman and the other guys I have 4.5, and then Step Brothers is my favorite.
You have Anchorman at 4.5.
Yeah. I think it's hilarious.
George, you love Adam McKay too, right? Like you hold him in very high regards.
I like Adam McKay a lot. I think his early work is incredible. I even think his dive into drama or satirical drama is incredible.
I like Vice, and I don't hate Don't Look Up. I don't think it's amazing, but I don't hate it. So I like him a lot. But
we should mention though, this isn't just an Adam McKay project. Bong Joon-ho is also working on this, which
is good. That's
why it scared me when I saw Adam McKay. But then Bong Joon-ho is also on it. But I don't know. I find it a bit weird that they're making this, to be honest.
I mean, so I don't know. Was Bong Joon-ho attached to the Snowpiercer TV series? Because maybe that's just something he likes doing.
No.
Okay. Which I've heard good
things
about that.
I didn't like. I watched one episode of that. I didn't really.
I never watched the series.
Yeah. I watched
the film. It's very good.
Good movie.
Great film. Is very good.
Really good movie.
All right. Next piece of movie news: The Equalizer 3 has begun filming.
Skip.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Listen, I'm just reading the paper.
I know that's
guys.
I almost put a sub note. Skip. I was like,
well, then we won't harp on it too long. Warner Bros. Releasing the entire Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, and NFTs. I thought, like, aren't we done with NFTs?
I thought so. Apparently not.
Dude, this is another thing that's like, who cares?
Like, I think it's going to make a lot of money. There's going to be people that pay way too much for these.
There's going to be people that pay so much for this.
Let me say this. If you're a listener to this podcast and you pay more than, I'd say 100, but if you pay more than 500, I'll be nice.
People will pay thousands. People will pay thousands.
I know. That's why I'm going 500 as like a low number.
I think 1,000 is a low number for how much people are actually going to pay for this.
Yeah. Do not buy this.
Cam, you have like how many? 3 Bored Ape Yacht Club NFTs?
Oh, at least, man.
Okay.
God, fucking joke.
Speaking of literally dumb money, Craig Gillespie's next movie titled Dumb Money, which is following the chaos that happened from GameStop stock rising because of Reddit Wall Street bets, coming out.
Have we talked about this, George?
No, I just saw that it was in the rundown, but this news came out like a couple months ago.
So this is the casting. Like there's been a lot of casting.
And I was gonna read through it because the entire cast,
it's big.
It's pretty freaking huge. Paul Dano, Shailene Woodley, Seth Rogen, Vincent D'Onofrio, Dame DeHaan, Sebastian Stan, Pete Davidson, America Ferrera, Mahala Harold. Probably pronounced that wrong, but that's a stacked lineup. This is one of those movies that we talk about almost every week where it's like, why is this being made? But with that cast, and with honestly just how crazy that was societally, like I was not super following it, but I was like kind of from
my
a side
buddies
following
had a
it.
lot of money, and a couple of my friends had a lot of money on GameStop. Man, they were like,
did they make a lot of money on it?
They got all the news started coming out about it. You know, when like it was kind of towards its peak. Yeah. So they didn't make a ton, but they made some. I mean, not like, but you had to be like actually on the Reddit to like get in when it was like cents. And then since then, I'm pretty sure their Reddit just been like just completely failing like over and over, like expecting the next big thing. Well, because after GameStop, it was AMC was the next big one, which actually did like boom, but like 6 months later, which is for people that are like the new stock traders that were influenced by Reddit, 6 months is like a lifetime. So like after a week, they're like, this is losing money. Fuck this. But yeah, very, very weird times during COVID and stock markets, and that's fun to follow, but it looks like this is clearly going to be a more comedic take on things. I mean, with the cast, I think it'll be great though. If it's something like The Big Short, awesome, great, totally. A comedic take on that. Like, but it won't be. But
it won't be.
Yeah, you can just we're done.
All right. Well, okay. So the next two pieces, I don't know if we want to talk about this. Angelina Jolie to play Maria Callas in a biopic directed by Pablo Larraín. It's going to tell the tumultuous, beautiful, and tragic story of the life of the world's greatest opera singer, relived and reimagined during her final days in 1970s in Paris.
I'm so sick of biopics, man.
I'm a big opera guy.
No, you're not.
Really?
There's no way.
No.
Okay. I didn't buy that for a second.
Yeah,
I did.
It wasn't worth it even trying. No, I got no clue. I didn't know.
Reading that description, it sounds like something I could see Angelina Jolie playing that role. So I don't think it's like I could picture her in that role.
She's a good actress. I mean, not great, but good.
Whoa.
It'll be like 4 hours long.
You think she's great? What's she great in?
Really?
What do you mean? Wanted? She's an Oscar winner.
Yeah, but Oscars.
It's been a long while since she's been able to flex those acting muscles, though. So,
man.
To be honest, with
George, we know that Oscars doesn't mean that.
I mean, yeah, but like, come on, let's not act like.
Okay. How about this? She's not great anymore. She's good.
Fair. That's
agreed.
Good.
Yeah.
Wait, what did she win an Oscar for?
Girl Interrupted.
Never seen that.
In fairness, I haven't seen it. I've heard it's great. I've heard it's amazing.
Is a good movie.
She
won for supporting actress.
She's kind of low-key kind of an action actor now.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that?
What was the last movie she was in?
Eternals or Those Who Wish.
Oh,
no,
yeah,
definitely Eternals. But did you guys watch Those Who Wish Me Dead?
Yes.
No. That was like one of my most anticipated movies of my lifetime because it was Taylor Sheridan again, who I fucking love.
I've still not seen what's it called? Hell or High Water, was it?
So good, man.
I still haven't seen
Sicario, Hell or High Water, Wind River, best trilogy.
I didn't love Sicario. I liked it, but Wind River's amazing.
All 5 out of 5s.
All Sicario and Wind River 5 out of 5.
Do you all give Sicario a 5?
Yes.
Oh, what?
With
Hell or High Waters where you hit?
Really?
Well, Hell or High Water is clearly the worst of the 3, but I could see 4.5 or 5 stars.
I think it's
we're not even going to debate that because it's just simply not a debate. Moving on to the next piece of news. Vicky Krieps and Dacre Montgomery cast in Went Up the Hill. And this honestly sounds like intriguing to me, at least. A ghost story that follows Jack as he attends her estranged mother's funeral and meets her grieving widow, Jill. His mother's ghost then begins to inhabit both Jack and Jill. I want more Dacre Montgomery in my life. I saw him. He was in Elvis for like 10 minutes. I was like, oh, cool, Dacre Montgomery. But I'm a big fan of him. Anyone got any thoughts on this one?
I think Dacre Montgomery is very quickly being typecast.
Wait, who was he in Elvis?
He's Stranger Things guy. He's Billy, right?
Billy,
He's also in Power Rangers, the reboot from 2016, which is not that bad, but he's probably in a lot of other things.
Honestly, after seeing Black Adam, I could have seen Dacre Montgomery as Atom Smasher.
Oh yeah,
it's like he could kind of pull off like that bad boy comedic timing, but he just won't suck.
Was he in Elvis?
Yeah.
When?
He had long hair in Elvis.
Yeah, he was like the person who
scene,
when
Elvis is sitting on the Hollywood sign.
Oh.
I think I missed that completely then. I don't remember.
Well, that's exactly like it's one of those things that you're watching Elvis, you're like, oh, there he is.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
You guys fuck with Elvis music?
The music?
Just Elvis music in general. I've been listening to Elvis music like crazy.
I love it.
Really?
Like to the point where he might be my #1 artist of this year on Spotify.
Not gonna lie, that was one of the most.
Seth only likes music if it's in black and white.
That was a good
that
joke.
mean?
That was a great joke.
What does that mean?
That's the point.
George, that was one of the hardest lines, like toughest lines I've ever heard dropped in this podcast. Like, y'all fuck with Elvis music. I was like, damn, George just went bad boy on us real quick.
My bad.
Last piece of movie news: Park Chan-wook wants to tackle a James Bond movie.
Sweet.
Why not?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just
like,
do it.
is it going to be great? Maybe.
Yes.
Yeah,
Is
probably.
this
Actually,
leave? Has he got like more releases around you yet?
it's
or
not near me yet.
No.
I'm not gonna lie. It'll probably be a streaming watch. For me
I'm
at this
sorry,
point.
like it is shameful that films like Banshees, Decision to Leave
Yeah.
get so
going
minimal.
on.
Well,
releases.
no,
And then
Banshees
Black
hasn't
Adam,
come
they're
out
literally
yet.
every 2 hours.
Banshees hasn't come out here yet. It's
Yes,
this
it
No,
has.
but it will.
Oh,
It will
Thursday, I
get.
thought.
It came out the 21st, last Thursday.
Oh, I thought the 28th was the
No, I thought we
United
said it
States
was
release.
the
No,
28th in the United
it does
States.
come out. It's come out in this week for the US. I'm sure.
Yeah. That
But
was
it'll
not
still
out
get-
here yet.
It'll get a limit, still a fairly limited release, 100%.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
it just will.
it's a part of their budget, unfortunately. Oh no, it's out. I can go see it. It's near me.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm saying.
Really?
Yeah.
No. Thursday. This is Thursday, November. Wait.
I'm
November
seeing
3rd.
October 21st
Yeah.
in the United States.
Really?
I see
I
that
thought it
too,
was
but
out this
I can't find showtimes until the 3rd.
Exclusively in select
2 weeks.
theaters, October 21st.
They'll do like
So-
a little release first.
Yeah, they'll do a minor release, and then
Yeah.
so November 3rd looks
on.
like the big release.
I might drive an hour and a half after work tomorrow to watch Decision to
Bro,
Leave.
it's great. It's amazing.
I want to
I'll
see
get on
it
Saturday.
so
It's fine.
badly.
It might be a streaming watch for me, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm unfortunately probably in the same boat. The only place I could go is like Scottsdale, which is like an hour and a half away from me. But let's get into some trailers quickly. Creed 3, I feel like we talked about Creed a lot. Do we want to dive into this? Any more trailers on this?
I just want to say one thing.
Go ahead.
Isn't it interesting that Michael B. Jordan's directorial debut is going to be the 3rd movie in a trilogy?
Yeah.
I think it's
It is
because
kinda odd.
I don't know how great of a director he is. We don't know yet, but I think it's something he knows and something he cares about.
That's fair.
I think that's what it is.
It's
but
just kind
also,
of him coming in to direct a movie for the first time, being a 3rd in a trilogy, kind of sounds like they wanted to stop this trilogy or this series after 2 movies. And Michael B. Jordan's like, well, I'll do it. Why not?
Is he a producer in it as well?
I have no idea.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
It's an easy cop out for his
but-
directorial debut because I mean, if it isn't great, we can just be like, well, it's the 3rd Creed movie, which is really like the 12th Rocky movie. So what do you expect?
I expect it to be good.
he
The
is
trailer
pretty
was
good.
great.
Yeah. And he's like
Yeah.
really
Jonathan
handsome
Majors
as well,
looks like
so.
a
I feel like you guys are
Fucking-
kind of writing this off as if like it
I'm not
doesn't
writing
look-
it off. I'm not
I
writing it off.
love
just think
Creed.
it's very interesting. Yeah, I think Creed 1 and 2 are both in my top
I
10
haven't
sports
seen the
movies of
second
all
Creed.
time.
I haven't even seen it.
They're both
So-
4.5 out of 5s for me.
I like the
they're
first
like
one.
lo-
First one was
one's a low 90s, one's like high 80s, but
low 90s, really.
Yeah, Creed 1, dude.
Creed
I think
1
Creed
is-
1 is almost
fact,
as
I
good
have
as
it at
the
Creed
original
1 is-
Rocky.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Wait, better than the original Rocky.
Almost,
It's
as good.
as good.
Almost
I have,
as good.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Rocky,
Maybe
I
almost.
have is the best sports movie of all time. But
Over Raging Bull.
Over
Come on.
Raging Bull, bro.
where do I have
That's
Raging Bull?
disgusting.
There's no way.
I think so, yeah.
Raging Bull is so clear of any sports movie.
Yeah, it's
ever.
not even. That's
Yeah,
not
so
even.
I have Rocky at a 96 and Raging Bull at a 94.
What about Warrior? I think Warrior's like top
90,
2.
I think. I mean, like,
You don't like George?
We-
You don't like Warrior?
No, I'm
No,
rolling
he's
my
mad at
eyes
my
to
score. He's
having
mad at my
Rocky
score. Oh,
above
right.
Raging Bull.
Yep, I do.
Sports movies are shit anyway, so fine.
That's fine. But that being said, this movie looks fucking awesome. This is the only trailer I thought we'd like kind of talk about because of like the trailer was so damn good. Jonathan Majors, Jonathan Majors, you come on this pod, I'll kiss you, man. You're fucking that dude's jacked. Just fucking. Did you see my tweet about me taking my shirt off and looking like him? That's a good one. That's a good one.
Follow ReelTok podcast.
Yeah.
That was a personal tweet. I'll be honest. Yeah, I put it on my. I don't think they would know who it was if I just tweeted.
They
from the
would.
ReelTok account.
Everyone knows who runs the Twitter.
I think people know who runs Twitter.
Yeah.
Just looks good, man. Looks really good.
But no, I'm super excited for Creed. I just feel like we've kind of touched on it, at least in quite a few podcasts. It's the only reason I kind of breezed
that's
over it. And definitely not because I'm uninterested at all. But did any of you get a chance to watch the A Man Called Otto trailer with Tom Hanks?
Yeah.
Tom Hanks, old white guy.
So
handshake emoji.
I don't care about this trailer. The only reason I put it in the rundown because I saw the funniest comment on a TikTok video of someone reacting to the trailer, and then some guy comments, "I'd let Daddy Hanks yell at me any day of the week," and I just thought that was the funniest comment.
That's awesome.
Just quickly, the summary of this film for those of you who haven't seen the trailer. I thought the trailer looked intriguing, looked charming, but it's a grumpy widower whose only joy in life comes from criticizing and judging his exasperated neighbors, meets his match when a lively young family moves in next door, leading to an unexpected friendship that will turn his world upside down. This sounds just like classic old Tom Hanks type movie.
I think it would be shit.
Well,
You think it'll be shit?
well, you're Mr. He's not a top 50 actor, so I feel like you're a little biased.
No,
in
not
opinion.
Tom Hanks. You got
Wait,
that
bro,
off.
can you
yeah,
remove
you got
that as
that
well,
off.
by the way?
Yeah, because
Can you get
it
rid of
was
that? Tom
Harrison
Hanks is-
Ford. It was
Oh
Harrison
shit,
Ford.
my bad.
Yeah.
Because everyone was commenting on mine like, how can you say Tom? Bro,
Yeah,
Tom
it
Hanks.
was Harrison Ford.
Let's calm down here.
My
That
bad.
was a funny edit error. That's
No, I don't know. It just sounds. I don't know if it'd be shit. It just sounds like something I've seen a few times.
it's
before.
gonna be at like it's gonna be like
shit.
its best possibility is like a low 4. No, not even a low
3.5.
low 4.5. I'd say like there's
4.5?
no way. Yeah, like an 85. I think that's its best possibility.
I
That's
feel
what
like
I'm
when
saying,
you
like,
say
it's peak.
4.5.
Yeah, our 4.5. So
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
hold
yeah.
as many 4.5s as high because like an 85, I'd say is like a B+ movie. You know,
Yeah,
Or
well,
a
I'd
B
give that
average movie.
Most of your 4.5s, like me and George, would probably give a 4. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Just 'cause of the way the scale
Because
works.
I don't go like because realistically anything above a 91 should be a 5 stars. Anything from an 81 to a 90 is a 4.5, and I don't
So I
necessarily.
do 85 to 90.
I
Yeah.
just can't be bothered to work that. I just
No,
do
yeah,
five.
5-star
fine.
supremacy is way easier. 5-star supremacy all day.
No.
5-star supremacy.
It doesn't
5-star
matter.
supremacy.
Poopy talk. Go.
All
Fuck
right.
you, Adrian.
Carry on, Tyler. Sorry.
No. So next up, we'll talk quickly about the A Christmas Story Christmas, just simply because I love this movie as a kid growing up. But Christmas Story Christmas is coming back, I guess. Follows Ralphie, now an adult, who returns to the house on Cleveland Street to wreak havoc and terror on kids ahead of Christmas Day. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. That was a Grinch joke. It's going to be actual legit reboot. He's coming back to give his kids on the street a magical Christmas like the one he had as a child, reconnecting with childhood friends and reconciling the passing of his old man. I don't think this would be great, but I loved this movie as a kid in terms of I could never sleep for Christmas when I was like a young kid, but this was one of those movies that's just on 24 hours on that whatever channel that was on. So I would just watch this movie like 4 or 5 times every
I've seen
single.
I like your first. I want to see your first synopsis first. That movie stuff where like Ralphie grows up to be like depressed guy working a 9 to 5 in a cubicle.
It wouldn't surprise me.
His wife left him. He comes back home to literally become like the Scrooge.
Who cares, man?
I don't care about this movie. After Home Sweet Home Alone, I don't give a fuck.
Oh my god.
Have you watched that?
Of course,
Yeah.
I watched everything.
Surely you rated that like.
That's a half a star.
Okay, fine. I refuse.
I think
to
I'm
watch
at
it.
1.
I refuse to
that's-
watch it.
It's a mad generous 1 star, Cam.
22
Well-
out of 100. Like, not good.
We'll keep chugging along. I'm sorry, Cam, South Georgia. This is we'll try and pick up the pace here. But every single freaking episode, we start it by saying, "Oh,
This is gonna be so short.
I don't think this is going to be that long this week."
Yeah, we're already at 2 hours
Do
now.
you know what?
We're under. We're like at an hour 50, so we'll probably
have
end
a-
up right
no-
around where last week's was. But still, anyways.
All right.
We have had no negative comments about how long it's been. We've had positive
Oh,
comments.
I'm not apologizing to the fans. The
don't
fans are
care
probably
about
like,
being
"Please go
long, yeah.
longer." But I'm just more like you guys, especially Cam. I know last week you got kind of yelled at, like, "Get off the podcast already."
Yeah, I was just late last week.
What do we
It's
have?
alright.
We have Seth doing Banshee and then the draft, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
well,
no,
I'll get my hot
we
take.
have one more trailer.
Well, oh, right, my fault.
Diary of
Sorry.
a Wimpy Kid, Roderick Rules. I didn't know they were still making these after that, one actor, life in
They're
prison.
animated now.
Oh, they are? Probably a smart move.
Yeah, they're animated in the style of the books. Did anyone read the books as a kid?
I loved the books.
Loved them
I read
as a
them
kid.
all the
I think I read the
time.
first 2 only.
I
I don't know
am-
how many.
I used
I
to
am
read them
so-
over and over again.
I am so tired of the goddamn Diary of a Wimpy Kid fan base on movies. There were like 3 in my bottom 100 movies of all time. Shut up. Piss off. The animated reboots now.
Wait, I don't think they're that bad. Which ones did you have in the?
I mean, like the fucking Dog Days, and then like, let me.
They're not that bad. They're not like.
No,
I mean,
I
they're
don't
bad.
know,
They're
man.
bad. Come
I
on.
don't
They're
know.
not.
They
Okay, they're bad, but I don't like.
They're
but
bad
I'm not-
movies.
All right, so
Maybe-
the Dog Days, like the new reboot. No, the Long Haul is the new reboot, but Dog Days is that bad, and so is the Long Haul. But the new
Oh, okay.
the new animated one is the best one.
Wait, Dog Days.
Yes, dude, they made 3. I didn't know that.
I gave Dog Days a 2.
They made too many.
You're a fucking idiot.
To be fair, I thought all yours would be half stars.
It's technically 1. Technically 1 star. It doesn't matter.
We'll end trailer talk there. I had no clue they were even animated movies. The only news I've ever heard of the Diary of Wimpy Kid series is just about the, that actor who, yeah.
Disney Plus animated.
So is it gonna be a Disney Plus release? Then I imagine.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Disney
Okay,
Plus.
gotcha, perfect. All right.
Do we know a release date on that? Sorry.
I don't have one. I can't
Who
be
cares?
release date.
No.
I
Okay.
want to watch it. It's animated.
That's actually one of my favorite
You'll
things
know-
we've learned this episode of the podcast. That Seth is like a Diary of a Wimpy Kid fan.
No, okay.
Wait.
Let's be real. As soon as
No,
it's not
don't
All right,
backtrack.
we're calling
on me.
it.
No,
We're
no,
officially.
the books, 100%. They were like my child. I used to read them over and over again.
Loaded
They were
diaper.
amazing. They were incredible.
Okay.
Pure
but-
comedic genius.
so yeah,
We're
like George
officially
kind
on
of.
Wimpy Watch. We're
God.
calling it. Hashtag Wimpy Watch. We're waiting for this new one.
We're getting off the rails here. Like George foreshadowed, we just have a couple things left. But before we get into the
March
final
4th.
stuff, I want Seth to quickly talk about Banshees of Inisherin. Please spoiler free because I know I'm at least very excited for it. George
I'm
is
so excited.
very
for it.
excited for it.
Does
so-
not.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
go ahead.
spoil it anyway. Like, so I put on my TikTok and this is my #1 film this year. And like, I think it's important to realize that this just had an impact on, when you like watch a film in the theater, cinema, whatever, and you walk out and you're like, yeah, that was just, you loved every moment of it. This was this for me. Like, so the first act is just, hilarious. Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson are just so funny. Barry Keoghan's character he plays a similar character that he does in The Green Knight, for example. It's like annoying guy who just is comically funny in the way that he talks and the way he delivers lines. The dialogue is perfect. The setting is just amazing. The way that it's shot, it's simplified regarding obviously friendship. It's deceptively simple. The actual plot is really simple, but there's so many layers to it, which provide so many. I'm going to see it again this week. Like, I haven't done that in so long. I'm going to see it again with my mum this week because I just want to watch it again. There's sad moments, heartbreaking moments, and it just is one of those films that kind of captures the essence of community and it feels like a real place. Every character feels interesting. Every character has their own story. You can compare people you've met in real life to different characters across the board, and it really like surprised me with how layered it was. Like, I know a lot of you, we've all seen In Bruges here, haven't we? Yeah. So
In Bruges, yeah, I've seen. Sorry,
I rated this higher than In Bruges. Like, it just had so much layers in regards to friendship, to trust. It just had an impact on me, from the laughs, the sad moments, the dialogue. Everything was fantastic. It is my #1 film this year. I don't think it'll be the same for a lot of you. It's one of those films that I feel like I just had that connection with, and I just loved it. It was my favorite cinema experience in a long time. But I think all of you will probably enjoy it as well. If you enjoyed In Bruges, you're gonna like this. Same cast, same funny moments with the dark layers in the middle. Yeah, it was fantastic. I gave it a 5 out of 5. So it was like really good, really good.
Every movie talk creator that I respect has liked it. I haven't seen one negative review about this movie from anyone on TikTok, really.
It's sitting at like a 4. It's got like an 8.3 IMDb, 4.2 Letterboxd. The reviews are really good, and the best thing about it is it's such a simple premise that is deceptively simple, and there's so much that you can actually go into and so many layers and stuff. But yeah, I won't go on about it too much, but it was fantastic. If you can watch it, I definitely recommend it. I'm looking forward to seeing all you guys watch it and hear your thoughts on it as well, because I think you'll really like it. That's for sure. Anyway.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely looking forward to that. Cam, George, do either of you go to movies often with your family, or whether when you're growing up in the house or nowadays, do you go with like your mom, dad, anything like that ever?
I saw Black Adam with my mom and dad.
I went to Black Adam with my mom.
Yeah.
Shout out,
My
you,
mom would
I
have
love you.
hated that film.
Yeah. No, my mom loves like comic.
I will
books.
say my mom was laughing at some of the jokes really hard. My mom was loving it.
Wait, it was your mum who sat behind me the whole time. I was crying. Do you have like family like comic book movies then?
Yeah, my mom loves them. I used to go to all the releases with her.
My mom hates them more than I do. So if I took her, she would have fucking despised it.
Really?
Like, despised. She's the sort of person who, like, she's one of those, like, you know how you think I watch black and white films, stuff like that?
Yeah.
Like that. This is where I get it from.
My dad doesn't care, but my mom really likes them.
That's just one of the most wholesome storylines every week is just like Seth and like his mom and their relationship with movies. Like I'm always like, that's just so wholesome. For me, I never watch movies.
It's the same with my dad as well. Like
that's awesome.
Recently, and we watched 71, which George loves. Obviously, he's gone. Like I watch films with my mum and dad all the time. Like I introduced her to Whiplash a few months ago. She said it was flawless. So
that's awesome.
That's
good.
Yeah.
For me,
I really enjoy watching films with my mum and dad.
I haven't lived within like driving distance of my family in 8 years now. So yeah, I don't really.
Where are your family? Like
they're located in Minnesota, and I haven't lived in Minnesota for.
What's the exact address?
Seth's gonna come over from across the pond, but yeah. So
I'm not going to Minnesota. If I'm going to the US, that's
Dude.
Yeah, you can skip over Minnesota. For Americans, Minnesota is somewhere you should check out. But if you're coming from a different country, it's not somewhere you need to pass by. So before we get into our draft, I want to just go over my hot take. We kind of made a thing. I don't know how long this will go on because we can only have so many hot takes. So first, Cam hit us with Moana's soundtrack being better than everything Hans Zimmer has made, as well as Moana in general being a better film than a lot of ones that everyone considers to be amazing. Then Seth hit us with Harrison Ford, not Tom Hanks, is not a top 50 actor, not Tom Hanks. So now it's my turn. And like, again, I feel like the thing with hot takes is when we come out with one, we're not like expecting people to even think it's that hot of a take. So maybe I'm alone, or maybe I'm not alone here, but to me, I think comedies are the worst genre of movie. Like nothing makes me less excited. Like if you're telling me like listing a cast of a movie with all these A-list actors, and then you say it's a comedy, I'm more disappointed than any possible genre could be. I think comedies are consistently the worst movies in terms of an overall collective genre.
No, I agree completely. I don't feel that's hot.
I don't know if that's like too hot of a take. I disagree, but I think comedies are by far the most subjective. So if like you're not excited for it, you're not excited for it, you know? Or if you don't find it fun, like 90% of my bottom 100 movies are comedies, and it's like I don't find these things funny at all. They are not enjoyable in any way. So if you don't find a comedy funny,
that's it.
What's the point of watching it? You know?
Would you say, George? Would you say there's more bad comedies or bad horrors? Because they're like the two for me where there's like.
I mean, I'm gonna say horror movies just because I think I've seen more horror movies than comedies.
Same, yeah.
But I don't know. Both of them can go really.
Those
wrong.
are the two genres where it's like
they're the two most subjective. I can't say that it's so goddamn subjective. If you watch a horror movie and you don't find it scary, someone else might. If you watch a comedy, that doesn't make people like Seth. I have never once laughed watching Austin Powers or Monty Python once in my entire life.
Monty Python.
How do you know I like Austin Powers?
I don't eat $1 million. It's so stupid.
How do you know that I like
it is so. It makes my skin crawl. I think they're such dumb movies. The comedy sucks. But like I know.
Kick me when you're down. Just carry on. Bro, what do you rate Anchorman?
A 4.5 out of 5.
Yeah, that's me. I got it at 2.
Okay,
same here, Seth. Anchorman, not funny.
That's just crazy. That's so fucking crazy.
21 Jump Street, 5 out of 10.
No,
like, that's what I'm saying.
Street,
Comedies are.
21 Jump Street is a 4 out of 5 for me.
Wait, what's wrong with 21 Jump Street? That's your more hot take, Tyler. But what's wrong? It has a plot line. It's what you want in a comedy. It's fucking hilarious.
I just didn't find it funny, like unfortunately. But again, comedy's super subjective, and again, I've seen way less bad horror movies, obviously, than everyone on this call. But I've seen a fair share, and I would say that I feel like I can get more out of a bad horror than a bad comedy. Whereas bad comedy, when it's so bad, I'm just like, fuck this, like I can't even keep watching. Whereas a bad horror, I can at least finish.
You need to watch some bad horror.
I can give you some horror movies that you will not finish.
Go watch.
Yeah, there's so many horrors I've started.
Massacre.
I've probably finished more comedies than I have horrors.
Yeah,
I'll be honest. There's some horrors where it's like, okay, this is. I think in my bottom like 20 films on Letterboxd, like the ones I rated half star, over half of them are horrors. I believe anyway.
Horrors can be bad.
Yeah, bad. It's horrors or comedies anyway. But yeah, Tyler, I don't think that's that hard. So I kind of agree with you, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's all right. Your more hot take is the 21 Jump Street take. But...
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm quickly pulling up my movie rankings list and just seeing some more low-rated comedies I have. Like Dinner for Schmucks, I have a 3.6 out of 10. Hall Pass 3 out of 10.
That's not low enough.
Anchorman 2.7 out of 10.
Oh, worse than Dinner for Schmucks.
That's the
Movie
worst
that
thing
makes
I have
fun of special
ever.
needs
We're
people
the
entire
Millers 5
time.
out of 10.
We're the Millers is pretty.
We're the Millers
We're
is
the
so
Millers is
funny.
not
I
amazing,
like
but
We're
it's
the-
so much
It's
better than 5
so
out of 10.
funny.
We're the Millers is
We're the
genuinely
Millers.
funny. It's just the plot just sucked for me.
No, it
You're so
but
bugging
wait,
out.
it's genuinely funny. That's
We're
the
the
point of the
Millers.
movie.
We're the Millers makes me laugh every time.
Every time, man.
Every time.
Every time.
And then the
Will
worst
Poulter is amazing.
the
man.
worst comedies
It's
are
so
frat comedies, like 21 and Over, and all
Yeah.
those just like
Oh, that's
drunk
terrible.
drinking. Those are
Yeah.
all horrible movies. That's a
Neighbor-
1.9 out of
Neighbors.
10.
Oh yeah, Neighbors. Yeah, bad.
Neighbors.
I guess I don't have Dinner for Schmucks rated, shockingly, but
But like the Hangover movies, or well, the Hangover 1, very highly rated for me.
So good, so good.
I
Like
think everyone likes that though.
Pop Star Never Stop Never Stopping, highly rated comedy for me.
great
I've
movie.
never seen
Wedding
it.
Crashers, classic, great movie. So I don't just always hate on them.
Wonderful.
But yeah, so comedy is my least favorite genre. Like it just brings everything else down. Like a rom-com is dragged down by its comedy. Horror comedies to me are dragged down by its comedy. I'm not a comedy guy. Maybe I'm just.
It
lack
sounds
fun.
like you hate fun.
Yeah. What's wrong with you?
I
Have you
mean,
ever
look
thought
at your
about,
recent watches. I think you're
smiling.
Yes, man.
Uh,
Speaking of horror movies, Terrifier 2 has crossed 5 million in the box office, which means it has made over 2,000% of its budget.
What was
good
his
job.
budget?
Good for it.
250,000.
Wow.
So it's
Good for
just
it.
about 2,000%.
I don't know
How
if
did
that's deserved, but good for it.
I mean, great for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they always do that. Don't they? That's the thing.
Well, let's bring this puppy home with our draft. So what I'm going for here is, so we're doing like basically funniest characters draft, but like kind of like the theme here is like we're all gonna pick a friend group, not like we're picking individual characters, but it's like who would you make like your funniest personal friend group? Like you want 5 buddies in like a room just to shoot the shit with. Like how funny of like a life would it be if like your friend group had these 5 people in it? But yeah, it's individual people. I know when I explained that to you guys, you got a little confused if I meant groups of people. Individual people from movies or TV, drafting just funniest people of all time from characters from movies. So not like you're not going to draft Steve Carell. You'd have to draft like 40-year-old virgin Steve Carell. You know, like we got it. We know what we're doing.
They got it. Yeah.
First up, so here's the order: George, Seth, myself, and then Cam. And we'll snake back 5 rounds total. George, you're on the clock with the first pick. Let's hear it.
George, you're gonna take mine. I know it.
I don't think I'm going to take yours because I'm not taking my number 1 choice because I'm here catering to the masses. You guys know I just like the votes.
Yeah.
So
You
I
get votes
think
anyway.
so. My first pick is a pick I think is going to get me votes, and that is Will Ferrell's character in Step Brothers, Brendan.
Fuck
Huff.
you, Brendan Huff. That was mine. Damn it.
Okay.
Seth.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Alan from Hangover.
Yeah, great one. So Will Ferrell
That's
from
gotta
Step
get
Brothers
picked,
off the
sure.
board. Alan from Hangover off the board.
That'll have to get votes, surely.
You know who I'd like? Oh shoot, it's
That's a very good pick.
Got it.
Yeah.
Surely that gets votes.
That's a
This
good.
one-
That was my number 1.
My first pick here should get votes. Deadpool.
That's a wow.
Third.
I haven't even seen it. So.
I had that as like a late 3rd, 4th round pick. I
I thought that was gonna be the first overall pick. Honestly, I
I'm
was
not,
worried.
I'm not mad about
Cam
that. I'm not
is
mad about that.
standing up. He's spinning around. He's beside himself right
I'm
now.
honestly a bit surprised that went that early.
Well, Cam was
was my pick.
clearly going to take it next. So
Cam
I
wanted
don't
Brendan
know.
Huff and Deadpool.
That was my pick. Yep. Those are 2 people I had on there. Now I'm gonna. All right. Fuck you. I'm going with McLovin.
good pick.
McLovin's a great.
That was on mine. That was
Yeah.
That was a good pick. That was a good pick.
Just seems like a lovely guy. God,
got
you're a
it.
real dickhead for that, dude.
You have another one.
I have another one. I'm gonna go with we're going to the Office, but we're going to the funniest character in the Office, or second funniest character, but I think it'll get more votes.
I
We're
know
going Creed Bratton. I want to hang
Wow.
out with Creed Bratton.
Creed Bratton
Oh.
off the board in round 2.
That's a wild 2nd round pick.
The funniest character in the Office is Kevin Malone.
I mean,
But-
so far the draft is between me, Seth, and Tyler.
Not gonna lie though, a friend, you know, like the TikTok audio is like, what is he building in there? Like a friend group with McLovin and Creed Bratton. Like, what is he?
Just vibing. Yeah, we're just fellas hanging out, man.
George just choked on
Yeah.
it.
He's
Oh, I can imagine it as well. It'd be hilarious.
Okay, well, second round pick getting Michael Scott, my friend group, with Deadpool. Think of Michael Scarn and Deadpool.
That was my next pick.
I mean, come on now.
That would have been my number one pick from the Office characters.
Yeah, of course it would,
Yeah.
because you're all basic bitches.
I mean, at least I have a theme I'm going for. Michael Scott is Michael Scarn with Deadpool.
I'm just mad now that I don't have Deadpool.
Bro, the fucking CPR scene where the person in the office is like,
Staying alive?
check if he has an ID. And Creed's like, he doesn't. I've checked.
Yeah. Dude, Creed's the best, man. He's so funny.
Well, it's Seth's turn, but I'm just gonna. Sorry, I have to roast Cam one more time. Creed Bratton would have went undrafted for sure, right? Like if Cam didn't pick him.
Oh, probably.
I would not.
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I think a lot of my characters might. I don't care.
Okay.
It's me.
Go ahead,
me
Seth.
alone. I'm not pandering.
Yeah, I love you for that.
Okay, I'm gonna say one that might surprise you, but he makes me laugh every. I'm gonna say Drax.
Stop.
Oh wow.
Wow.
No,
The
really.
Wow.
Honestly, I'm not.
I don't think it's a bad pick. I'm just surprised
That'll get
you
votes.
picked
Like
it.
having an
No,
MCU
bro,
character will get votes.
I don't love the MCU's humor, but everything that guy says, like, you know that scene where it's like horribly Larry batteries. I replayed that so many times because I just found it so funny. I think he's hilarious, man.
That's something.
Just everyone right now, just picture in your head Seth after a day of working, coaching his clients, grinding, goes to his local pub and grabs a pint with Drax and Alan from The Hangover sitting in the booth. That would be a great scene.
Oh,
That is a good scene. I like it.
I like
George.
It. I like it.
I can't believe my next two picks are still on the board. I'm shocked they haven't been taken. My first one is Borat.
Great pick. Great pick.
Just one of the funniest characters
guys.
ever.
I should have taken him.
and then
Absolutely.
I wasn't even on my list, to be honest.
My third pick, I also can't believe McLovin went first from Superbad because I think Seth is the wildly funnier character. So
I have to be honest.
Nick
I
Lovin's
don't think I don't think either of them are the funniest characters in Superbad.
I am.
You think Michael Cera is?
Every film he's in, he's just so awkward, isn't it? You know the scene when he's in the room with the girl.
Yes, I was just gonna say that. That scene's so
That is
fucking
so
hard to
bad.
watch.
That is a funny scene.
Okay, well,
There's so many you could pick from Superbad, though. Isn't
Yeah,
there?
there's a ton you can pick from Superbad.
great board for George right now with Will Ferrell from Step Brothers, Borat, and Seth Rogen from Superbad. That's just hijinks written all over it. Seth, you got some beefy boys. Who you adding to the crew?
I'm gonna say something that's gonna surprise you after I've just talked shit on it for like ages. The only redeeming quality for Anchorman for me is a brick. I think
That's on my list. That's on my list. Great.
Who's on my list?
He's so funny. But Steve Carell makes that film watchable.
That was he was on my list.
Oh, I just thought of a sleeper that's not going to get me votes, but who I want.
Man, I am struggling with who to pick next here. So I got Deadpool and Michael Scott. This one I don't think is going to get that many votes, but it's just, I'm throwing it in for me. Charlie Day from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
That was on my list.
That's a good
Hilarious,
one.
wild character.
That's a good one.
The thing is, there's so many like UK sitcoms that I love, but I just can't pick the guys from because no one's gonna know them. That's the issue.
That's
That was a
fair.
good pick.
That's fair.
Cameron, 2 picks.
I'm going with Holland March, who is Ryan Gosling from The Nice Guys.
I still need to watch that.
One of the
I've been meaning
most
to watch that.
one of the most overrated, underrated movies of all time.
Yeah.
There's so many edits
No.
about that film.
Yeah, I have it at a 5 out of 5. I think it's great, but I think
Misty
everyone
Mountains.
who's watched it agrees. And then I'll save who I was gonna go with. I was gonna go with someone, but I'll save them for the last pick. I'm gonna go with. Is this cheating? I'm going with Bo Burnham from Inside.
I'll
That's
accept
not, why
it.
would that be cheating? I don't think so.
Well, I don't know. It's not really like a movie.
not-
It's just
it's not
I just
funny.
want Bo Burnham.
It is hysterical.
I'm getting Bo
Isn't that
Burnham in
film
general.
just in the room, like making me? I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
One-
you don't
one
have,
of-
you don't
Seth,
have to. I just gave it.
That's
a
one of the
4.5.
few 5 stars I've given this decade.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so Cam's got 4 picks. Mine's next off the board here. You know what? I'm going back to The Office and putting Dwight Schrute on the squad.
You're literally pandering.
It's my favorite
I mean,
comedy show of all
It would have
time.
been stupid.
I
if
agree.
Dwight-
It's my favorite. I
If
agree.
Dwight went undrafted and Creed Bratton went drafted, that would
I
be an
would've been-
abomination.
I'd take Kevin Malone before Creed
Dwight would have been one
Well,
of my
why
next
didn't
two.
you then? You just said you
Dwight
picked
would've
Kevin
been
Malone.
one,
because Kevin Malone's not going to get as many votes as Creed. So I'm not pandering. but
I
I'm
actually
half pandering.
disagree on that a lot. I think Kevin Malone
think?
would get more votes. Sorry. Seth, next pick.
I I have to put him in there. And people aren't going to like this. Tyler, you're not going to like this. I'm putting Ross Geller in there.
Oh, no. Great pick. Great.
That's a good pick.
Really? Tyler, I thought you hated Friends.
So I dislike Friends like quite a lot actually, but Ross has always been my favorite part of that. Like I enjoy Ross a lot. But yeah, Friends, I don't like the show, but Ross, very funny.
So funny. He's not a nice person at all, but he's fucking hilarious, man.
I thought more Friends picks would come off the board already because you three in the chat were just going crazy about it. But
I think with Friends, there's a lot of like equally funny people, apart from Monica. Like, you throw more than that. Monica's
George, your last two picks to finish off your group of five.
My fourth pick, I think, is a sleeper, and that's Kirk Lazarus, which is Robert Downey Jr.'s character in Tropic Thunder.
Great pick.
That was on like when I searched like lists of funniest movie characters.
Yeah.
That was on, like, everyone.
Yeah, that has to be a pick.
I get it.
And then I'm going to go with, I think, a pretty basic pick for my fifth round. I'm just going to keep it safe. I'm going to go Ron Burgundy.
Yeah, that was probably going to be my last pick, so good move.
I searched a list of like 100 funniest characters, and I hated the top 10. I was like, this sucks, so I'm not looking at this. Yeah.
So George's draft is done. He has 2 Will Ferrells in it. But Seth, finish off your draft with one more pick.
Oh man.
Shoot.
I'm going to be surprised if one TV character doesn't get taken.
Oh damn. Someone horror me up. Okay, I'm taking Boyle from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
It's a good
I've
one.
never seen
I
that.
like Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah, no comment.
I don't love it. I don't love it.
Is that
I
Adam? Wait, who?
I don't love it. But
Which
I think
character
he's
is that?
funny. Boyle.
He's I forget what's his
The,
name.
oh,
He's
the
short
friendly
guy.
Swedish
okay,
voice.
Okay.
He's funny.
Aziz
I forget his
Ansari?
real name in real life.
Oh shit! My last pick. Kind of want to go with the same strategy George had and have 2 of the same actors, but I'm gonna go with Ron Swanson as my final
That's
pick.
a great
Who's
pick.
that?
Parks and Rec,
Parks
the
and Rec.
guy with the
Have you not
bushy
seen Parks and
mustache.
Rec?
No, we're gonna go this answer.
That's a good
If
pick.
you-
That's
if
a
you
great
like-
fifth round pick.
If you like The Office, Friends, you'll like Parks and Rec.
Yeah, but this is the issue, isn't it? Like, there is so many ones I could give you from like Peep Show, the in
Yeah,
between,
bro.
but no one's gonna vote for them because no one knows them.
No, but I'm saying like this is like a like if you like The Office, they're it's the same thing, but it's funny. It's
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
Cam's final pick. Was it?
I'm gonna say the name, and you guys can tell me if you know who it is. I'm going with Pepper Brooks. He is Jason Bateman in Dodgeball. the best part of Dodgeball, without a doubt. Come on.
What's everyone's
man.
opinion on Dodgeball here? Because I tried to watch it.
Great movie.
It's
Good
so
movie.
funny, dude.
It's been a long,
It's-
long time for me.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
It's
All
so
right.
I
funny.
will say, I'm surprised no one took Peter Griffin, Stewie, or Homer Simpson.
Homer Simpson and Peter Griffin were on that. Do you know what?
Thought
I
about
was
it,
gonna
but-
put Donkey.
or any, Donkey, any South Park characters. I'm surprised Cartman didn't get taken.
Mhm.
The thing for me is I'm too much of a visual guy, and I was too bought into this. Like, I want to make a funny friend group. So for me, just animated just like didn't work for that. in my
Yeah, that's
mind.
fair.
Do we
All
want
right,
to? Is everyone
did-
finished? Or?
All right,
Yeah.
well, congrats, guys.
Did you
wanna
take?
run through-
Did you run through them, Tyler? Did you?
Yeah,
not
I'll
write
do that
them?
right now. I was gonna do. Yeah, we'll run through them and then we'll talk about some honorable mentions if you want to discuss those. But George, Will Ferrell from Step Brothers, Bo Rat, Seth Rogen from Superbad, Kirk
No,
Lazarus.
Seth from
Seth.
Superbad.
Jonah
Oh
Hill.
shit.
Jonah Hill.
Okay.
Could've
See, that's a
taken-
good clarification
close.
because Seth
Yeah.
and Superbad could easily be taken either way.
I'm making the graphics, so it's okay.
Yeah. Which also, just a quick comment. I think it's good to use pictures and not names because a lot of people. use names
No,
on
I'm
this,
definitely gonna
Yeah.
use pictures.
So sorry. Will Ferrell, Step Brothers, Bo Rat, Jonah Hill and Superbad, Kirk Lazarus, Tropic Thunder, and Ron Burgundy. Great team. Seth, the most interesting of the bunch, but I dig it. Alan from The Hangover, Drax, Brick Tamland, Ross Geller from Friends, and Boyle from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Tyler's draft, Deadpool, Michael Scott, Charlie Day from It's Always Sunny, Dwight Schrute, and Ron Swanson. And Cam, McLovin, Creed Bratton, Holland March from The Nice Guys, which is Ryan Gosling's character, and Bo Burnham from Inside, and Pepper Brooks, Jason Bateman, who is played by Jason Bateman in Dodgeball.
I don't remember Jason Bateman's character in Dodgeball.
Yes, you do, man. He's
No,
the
I
fuck,
don't.
he's the announcer.
The ESPN The Ocho.
The ESPN The Ocho announcer, and what's his fucking line? Of
so-
course,
It's a
I'm
bold,
blanking.
it's a bold move.
Yeah,
We'll see the
bold move.
payoff for him.
He is funny.
He's blindfolding himself right now. You know, he's not going to be able to see very well with that on, Cotton.
Yeah.
Best character in that.
No, he is funny. I remember it now.
Yeah. It's not gonna
Let's run through some honorable mentions. I'll quickly go through mine. 40-year-old virgin Steve Carell, I was tempted to throw in there. Happy Gilmore, just because I think a golf outing would just be electric with him. And then just because I just want to get Rachel McAdams, my friend group, I was going to throw in Regina George. But that's all I have for honorable mentions.
Yeah.
I wanted to throw in Kumail from The Big Sick, but that's like too sad of a movie. I mentioned Kevin Malone. I wanted basically any Will Ferrell character, but at like halfway through the draft, I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go none.
Cool.
That's probably who oh shoot, man. Should have done what's his name from Popstar, Never Stop, Never Stopping.
Andy Samberg.
Yeah, but I forget like what his character's name is. Should have done that. That's a good one.
George, any honorable mentions?
Honestly, I got everyone that I had written down got taken, so not really. I'm surprised Zoolander wasn't even mentioned.
I don't. I'll be honest.
I don't hold that
find
movie
Ben
as
Stiller that
Yeah, I don't love the movie, but I'm just as in terms of like I guess being an iconic character.
That
like,
was number one on like a few of the lists.
Yeah, it was, man.
that's a shitty list then.
I'm
also surprised that Chandler or Joey didn't get taken. A sleeper pick from The Office is Stanley, I think, and Kevin. I think they're both wildly hysterical
Oh,
characters.
can I say the best Kevin quote ever
Let's hear it.
is from Dwight's Christmas in season 9. Dwight's Christmas, he's eating something and he's like, "This hog mama is great." And they go, "I believe it's pronounced maw." He spits it out. "What is maw?" as if he fucking knows what hog mama is. I love it. What is maw?
So none of you like Jim Halpert in Office?
No, they're the straight guys.
Yeah, he's like the typical dude character.
He's the best character.
Yeah, but he's not the funniest.
He's not the funniest.
You know the worst fucking character on The Office by a million miles. Do you know where I'm going with this? Anyone? Any guesses?
It's got to be one of the interns.
Nope.
Plop.
No,
Mindy
it's the
Kaling?
fucking traveling salesman, Todd Packer.
No, Todd.
Every episode he's in
Well,
fucking
yeah, he's
sucks.
just fucking an offensive piece of shit, but he's not like all that funny.
But
either.
that actor is, sorry if this is gonna offend anyone, just chronically unfunny in everything he's ever been in.
That's not true in everything.
Wait,
What's his
I know
name?
who
Why
you're-
can't I
which
think
one?
of his name? He's in Anchorman.
He's in Anchorman. He's the.
I know
agree. He's so unfunny.
He's so
David
fucking
Koechner.
bad in everything. Not even
his
his bad.
line
So
delivery
bad.
is not good at all.
I think he's funny in the Anchormans, and I'm trying to think what else I've
Oh,
seen him in.
I was surprised no one picked like any of the Big Lebowski characters. To be honest,
I almost did.
Walter.
I don't
Like,
think those would get votes though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they should do.
I draft for votes strictly. 5-0 incoming.
Like, you
Five-
wouldn't.
5-1.
Yeah, whoa,
5-1,
Tyler's got to
5-1.
win.
What do you mean? Wait, are we counting trivia? Shouldn't count as a draft win.
Yeah,
though.
trivia.
No.
You're 1-0 in trivia. I feel like trivia and draft win should be separate
All right,
scoreboards.
fine.
Are we doing more trivia? Okay, fine.
We'll do that sometime.
Fine.
So we'll wrap up here. For some reason I'm blanking because I looked at so many like top 100 lists of funniest characters, and there were just so many that were just so stupid on there, but I just can't remember what they were.
Yeah, like someone had Austin Powers in their list.
Yeah,
Come on.
yeah.
I think Stifler from American Pie is funny.
He's hysterical.
He's
funny.
very funny.
He's
surprised
funny.
I don't find those movies all that.
Well,
George, I had a Lancelot from Holy Grail. I'm sure you love that.
Yes.
That would have gotten you 0 votes.
there's people who love that movie, but
I love that movie.
well, gentlemen, I was confident that this was going to be the shortest episode. Like I was like, I am a betting man, and I would have bet heavily this would be the shortest episode. As our host, I will take the blame for it. I did not move us along fast enough. But that's it for us, everyone. Next week is the Halloween episode. We're gonna have new updated graphics. Gonna have a whole Halloween themed show that George is hosting. We're all dressing up in costumes. So George, Seth, and Cam. I have mine ready to go. You better be dressed up.
It's gonna be the shortest.
I've not even thought of mine yet. I'll be honest.
I haven't thought of it either.
It's gonna be the shortest episode.
No, I'm dressing.
It's gonna be the shortest episode. No one liked my joke. That's all right.
I mean, it might be.
It was just a joke.
Well, that's all, folks. If you haven't already, and you haven't listened to me all the times before, you are literally banking on our downfall. If you have not rated us on Spotify, rated us on Apple Podcasts, subscribed. So stop hoping we fail and help us take us to the moon. I also was supposed to mention this at the beginning of the podcast, but I didn't. At 5,000 subscribers, we're going to YouTube subscribers, we're going to release merch. I have some cool stuff I'm cooking up that even you three haven't seen. Not just basic t-shirts and hats. I got some dope stuff that's like personalized for George, Seth, and Cam. I will. I like to show off unfinished work. But we got some great merch coming. 5,000 subscribers. We're going to drop it. Sick stuff coming. Thank you all for listening. We're at 2 hours and 23 minutes and 48 seconds. Now our longest episode. But
oh my God.
I hope you all enjoyed.
It's just easy to talk with the fellas.
I miss you all. I miss you all. So time for me to go watch NFL football. I hope you all have a great day. And I will see you next week in the Halloween Spooky Special.